There we go. There we go. There we go. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Let me start with John D because been the longest since I've seen him. John D, how you been, man? How you been?
I'm pretty good, Just pulled out my first PCL win, so I'm on a high right now. I'm chilling. How's everybody
You,
doing?
you think it was a well-deserved win? You think you won that?
I think I did my thing. What I'm saying? I definitely think it was close, but I think I did my thing.
Hmm. I had you win for what it's worth. I had you winning.
Appreciate that.
But I don't think this is your first win. I think I had you winning another one too. So
Yeah, I'll be pretty deep in the comment section. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but chill. How you been? I mean, it's been 48 minutes since we last spoke. But
I want to know, Mars, when you moved to the lead guard. Like you usually play this, you usually play the two. Sometimes you play the rotation guy. It looks like Mars, you running the O today again.
I'm versatile, man. What can I say?
I know you multi-purpose, right? I know you are a multi-purpose guard, right? I just never really seen you at the lead guard that much, and it looks like it's an ongoing thing. I don't know, man. Ron, you might want to hurry up back, yo, because your lead guard duties might be in jeopardy, my man. I'm just saying.
I'm versatile, man. For someone who brings nothing to the platform, I mean, I like to say I'll be doing things here and there. So
Mars can run the O. Mars has been running the O. So
I got a game, man. I got a game. But Ox, how you been, man? How you been in the last 24 hours?
I'm chilling.
Mm-hmm. I got a little beef with Ox. Said I was talking nonsense in the comments yesterday, so I'm not happy with Ox right now.
Complete nonsense.
Yeah, I'm not happy with Ox right now, but we gonna let it slide and we gonna give everyone a good show today. So I'm gonna have to just put my grievances to the side. Shout out to Bolt for becoming a member before the show even started. Shout out to you. And then before we get into the main topics of the day, which is gonna be about the Bucks, I've got nothing left. So KD and Bird are both super team merchants. It's a middle.
What is that? I never understood the whole super team logic. And woe is me to expect a general manager to actually do his job and build a damn good team around a player and then criticize that player for the general manager building a good team around him. Because at the end, in the end, when you build a good team around me, I still got to do my job and win. It's not just because I got a bomb squad around me that necessarily means it's going to work. I still have to win. So for the record, so you guys know, Robert Parrish was a throw-in in a trade. That's how they got that. That's how they ended up getting Kevin McHale. Because if I'm not mistaken, I remember this vividly. So Red told everybody that he wanted Joe Barry Carroll. He didn't want Joe Barry Carroll. Kevin McHale was his guy. That's who he wanted. So he was able to get the third pick from the Golden State Warriors, and they threw in Robert Parrish. Like, yeah, you can have him too. They threw him in, right? So Robert Parrish was a cast-off. They get Kevin McHale in addition to already having Bird, right? Then they get Dennis Johnson in a trade. So, I mean, that's GMing. Why am I blamed for that? I don't understand that as a player. Why do I get blamed for that?
I don't think they necessarily throw the blame on the GM. I think it's the one who makes the super team possible. I think KD gets more blame than Steph Curry, and I think LeBron James gets more blame than Dwayne Wade and Pat Riley for enabling the super teams. So I can understand a GM's doing his job. A lot of people are going to say the Boston Celtics are a super team, but it's just good drafting, good trading. I wouldn't call that team a super team, but I definitely think more of the blame is towards the LeBrons, the Kevin Durant's, than it is on more of the GM.
Kevin Durant in the aspect of him jumping on that Golden State Warriors team. And I said this when it happened, and I still stand on it today. I hated it. I thought it was a sucker move. James and Dwayne Wade was not James's problem. Both of them had the same problem, which was the Boston Celtics. It wasn't that James was worried about going through Wade, because he wasn't. He had to deal with the Boston Celtics, who were also bouncing Dwayne Wade. And Dwayne Wade will tell you, well, he called up LeBron James and said because Kobe Bryant was winning. Then he also turned around and said to Kevin Garnett, y'all were the reason why we got together. So, I mean, when you talk about quote unquote super teams, I think these guys get a bad rap when the general manager is doing it, as opposed to when guys take their careers in their own hands. I have a difficult time with that.
Well, first, Kobe Bryant wasn't thinking about LeBron James or Dwayne Wade.
He wasn't, Ox. He wasn't. He
There
wasn't.
was no sweat on Kobe's brow for LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
No.
But I mean, that's just how it goes. Chill. You know how it is, especially like when you're a competitor. Like, you want people to compete. Like the Kevin Durant thing. There's no explanation for that. There's no. It's just I can't fathom doing that. You know what I'm saying for Kevin Durant, right. But for the GM, for the coach, obviously they did what they were supposed to do.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And even KD, like he did what he was supposed to do technically. You know what I'm saying? But from a competitor standpoint, right. it's sorry. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. The whole thing. I'm so back and forth. I'm on both sides of the fence with it, chill. I really am. It's like I understand why some people would do it. I understand teaming up. I understand that, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, that's a weak move. I don't know. It's a really hard conversation to have. I think it's a hard conversation to have. It depends on who you how you feel.
Yeah.
We got a $20 super chat from NP13 relating to this. He said, "Yeah, but couldn't you just say LeBron was KD and Steph's problem, so they teamed up to make their job easier? It's not my fault I didn't struggle enough for you on my way to winning the chip, which is my job."
But that wasn't KD's problem. Steph was KD's problem.
Yeah, because KD hasn't seen LeBron in the finals at that time for about 4 or 5 years. He was worried about the Western Conference. He couldn't get out the Western Conference after that first finals meetup with LeBron. So I would say Steph or maybe the Spurs were more of his problem than LeBron was.
And
he beat the Spurs that year.
They did, and they beat him in 12 too when they went to the finals. But with that being said, Curry was the gatekeeper. So in order for you to get to James, you got to get past me. And then both of those guys recognize that you can't beat him without us. We can't beat him without you. So that's why we got to get together. Now, with James, when I look at what James and Wade did, they had the same problem, but it wasn't each other. And Wade didn't jump on the Boston Celtics. James didn't, after they lost to Orlando, he didn't jump on the Orlando Magic with Dwight Howard. He didn't do that. That's not that. Unlike what KD did, I think those two things are not this. I don't think those two things are the same.
Interesting. Adam West said, daily reminder, let's keep it a buck K. Bunch of bozos, dub panel, dub ox, Steve Francis the GOAT. We're going to talk a little bit about Steve Francis on Open Gym today.
Is that still going on?
This guy
Adam West got beef. Yeah, Adam West got beef. Yeah,
right. But he got beef with B Souls. Like, that's crazy. B Souls is a cool dude. Like,
yeah, I mean, he got beef. I don't know why he got beef.
Right.
But I do know why Factor has beef.
What up, PC Nation? Warmer, sunnier days are calling. Fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never-frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great-tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart a new healthy routine. What are you waiting for? With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Crush your wellness goals this July with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. Make your day delicious. From breakfast to dessert, stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up. Enjoy effortless support for your lifestyle. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well-balanced. Head to factormeals.com/playerschoice50 and use code PlayersChoice50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code PlayersChoice50 at factormeals.com. superteams.com/playerschoice50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.
While the ad was playing, Players Choice 50 is the code to use if you are interested in getting Factor Meals. 1K David sent a super chat pertaining to Ox. He asked, what's the difference between what KD and KG did in terms of KG going to Boston? What's the difference?
Those two things.
The series? Oh, well, I mean,
he paid money to ask, so
yeah. Well, I'll engage. Sure. I think the difference is that KG had spent his whole career with the franchise that had done something fraudulent and messed up all their draft picks and stuff like that, and couldn't build around him. They got him Wally Zerbiak and Latrell Sprewell, which shout out to those guys, but he couldn't really compete. Couldn't really compete over there. He spent a lot of his career, the majority of his career there, trying to compete, carrying that franchise. He wasn't surrounded with stars like Russell Westbrook and James Harden, and wasn't going to the finals and losing in the finals. Wasn't. On top of that, he went to Boston, not a team that he lost to, that he was up on, a team that he could have beat, and then just decided, I don't want to run it back and try to beat this team again. Instead, I'm just gonna say forget it and team up with them. I think there's an obvious difference in what they did, and I think that, bro.
And I think a lot of people are still trying to put KD in the same boat with LeBron and KG, when KG wasn't getting much playoff success or much winning success before he went to the Boston Celtics. I mean, they weren't in finals contention. And then the LeBron James Cavaliers and the Miami Heat, they weren't getting much NBA well, the Wade has a ring, but LeBron wasn't getting to the finals, or LeBron wasn't really necessarily consistently going there until they got there. And I think KD going to the Warriors after they went 73-9 and after they won a chip is extremely different than what KG and LeBron did.
Number two, and I'm surprised you guys didn't bring this up, Minnesota was better than Boston at that time. KG had to be convinced to go there. He had a no trade clause in his contract. So he had to be convinced to go to the Boston Celtics. So when they traded for Ray Allen and he saw what they were doing, okay, now I'll do it. But up until that point, why am I leaving my situation, even though in Minnesota, they had already ran its course? If we're being honest, Ox, he'd been there for 12 years. They had probably gotten everything that they were going to get out of him. He had done everything he could possibly do for them. They clearly weren't going to build a championship unit around him at that point. So he had done everything he could possibly do. Even with all that being said, they were still better than Boston. Boston was terrible in 2006, 2007. They were at the bottom of the East. Minnesota was better than them. So he had to be convinced to go there. So once they did what they did with trading for having Rondo there, having Paul Pierce there, then trading for Ray, okay, maybe this might be a better situation for me.
And chill, I keep forgetting, like, until I just seen it in the chat. I keep forgetting they were up 3-1. You know what I mean?
Please don't leave that out. That's very important.
I'm thinking that was up like 2. I'm forgetting it was up 3-1.
They had them dudes in a chokehold. They had them in a chokehold.
And also another difference between KG and KD. It's not like the franchise point guard came through and kicked it for a couple months and then decided it was too cold for him and left KD, Let's not forget that.
I still haven't forgiven Marbury for that too, by the way.
I never will. I don't intend on it, and I don't want to forgive.
I'm not off that. I just didn't want to live in Minnesota for the next 7 years. Why? Do you want to live in Jersey? What the hell? And I'm from Jersey. No.
You don't live in Jersey. I mean,
a break.
About to get paid handsomely, brother. Sit down.
100%.
He want to live where he want to live. I mean, everyone's entitled to live where they want to live.
And you're in a great situation with this dude. A great situation.
Yeah, but it's Minnesota, man. I don't want to be in Minnesota. I don't blame him. NP13 then said, Ox, I need you to go. I need you to do one of these voiceovers for these Factor ads. It sounds too generic right now. He hating on JD. He's saying Ox need to do the voiceover.
First of all, shout out JD. Second of all, they're not gonna let me do that, man. I improv too much. I go off script a little.
Ox, read the lines, Ox. These aren't the lines. What are you doing? That's not what's in the script, Ox.
Yeah, I can't help it, yeah.
I mean, hey man, sometimes a little bit of improv doesn't hurt anyone. Sometimes it does, but we'll ignore the times it doesn't. Just say sometimes it doesn't. Question for Chill, and then we'll get into the Milwaukee Bucks. Antoine said, Chill, would rookie MJ still lead the league in points per game?
I'm off that. I am.
Okay.
I'm off that.
I was never on that, but yes, I'm also off that.
I'm off that.
Wait, John D wasn't here when we spoke about that. Do you think Rookie MJ would lead the league in scoring today?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
You're a hater. I see. Anyway, onto the Bucks. Recently, Damian Lillard went on a podcast with Jeff Teague. Gave us some interesting bits of information. So I want to start off with just a little clip of what they spoke about. And I want to ask for you guys' opinions on what Damian Lillard and Jeff Teague said. And then we'll get deeper into it. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Just get it like that. And a lot of people talk about, obviously, we know Steph to go. Like you, bro, one of the best shooters of all time that don't get enough credit on that because you really go crazy. Like we was looking at the highlights, but you have plenty about it. They don't talk about it enough, bro.
Nah, he number 2.
Yes,
it was him and Clay. They battle for number 2. Because I feel like you can shoot off the dribble better though.
Yeah.
I mean, Clay, I ain't gonna lie, because he put 60 on us. I got a different view. Like, I got PTSD. Yeah, I got PTSD from Clay. But the way you can shoot off the dribble, though, I put that in, like, you and Steph in a different room with that.
That's hard to do. It's a harder shot. They more contested. Yeah. People guarding you harder. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different, bro.
Hell yeah,
bro. They definitely don't talk about it. They act like I don't be doing what I've been doing. Like, this will be my 13th season.
You've been going crazy for a long time.
Still
you've been cold.
Crazy.
It's been a long time, bro.
That's what we want to hear. Go crazy.
It's been a long time, bro. For real. Like, I'm just saying, it's like my time in the league. When I think about like how many people have been very good, like over that time, and then it's been more people very good, then more people very good for a couple years, like. It ain't been that many people that been here the whole time, like since I've been in the league, that just been doing it like over and over and over. But I think people just get bored with consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't loud, but like, shit, I've been doing it that long and winning. Like, it ain't like I've been doing it and I'm playing for a team that just never played in the playoffs. Like,
yeah.
Portland. The season before last, bro, I averaged almost 33 a game, bro.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah.
Like,
it's hard to average a dub in the league for a decade, bro.
It's crazy. I've been over 25 for damn near 8-9 years.
Do you think Damian Lillard is correct that he doesn't get the respect he deserves for his level of consistency and how well he shoots the ball? And is he right to think that it's him and Steph, and they're really the only two who do it like that? I guess that's the question I'm asking. Is he right to feel the way he feels?
I guess James Harden is dead. I don't know.
I think he has some. I think I can understand what he's saying, but I think the issue is he's playing in the same era as Steph Curry. I mean, Steph Curry is undoubtedly the greatest shooter of all time, and he's doing it and winning NBA Finals, going to the NBA Finals, breaking records. I think that's the reason why Dame isn't getting the love he says he necessarily wants or he necessarily deserves, because we're seeing Steph do it while going 73-9. We're seeing Steph do it while winning back-to-back MVPs. We're seeing Steph do it while winning a Finals MVP and going to the NBA Finals. I think that's the reason.
You could be in a conversation with somebody but not be close to him. I mean, Drex was in a conversation with Jordan, but it was still like this. So I think the same logic goes with Damian Lillard and Steph Curry. I don't think that as good a shooter as you are, and I will definitely give you credit for being a great pull-up shooter, great mid-range shooter, great long ball shooter, great clutch shooter also. There aren't many guys who are great clutch shooters like you, but I don't think that you were Steph Curry good when it came to off the bounce. I think the separation between you and him, I don't think it's close. But with that being said, I also think that what you're talking about, you winning, I mean, been to Western Conference Championship one time in 13 years. And in Portland, I don't think they did a great job in building that unit around him, but I also think a lot of it had to do with him not being committed on the defensive side of the ball, and that factored in with them not winning. So I wouldn't be surprised in 10 years, 15 years, the casual NBA fan forgets about Damian Lillard off the strength of him not winning. I think that's going to be a big deal. But him as a baller, I mean, I know who Damian Lillard is. I can't speak for everybody, but I know who he is. Sure.
Yeah, I got a lot of love for Dame. Mm-hmm. Just coming from Northern California and remembering Dame, when we was young too. Dame is certified on that basketball court. You know what I'm saying? You can't see. You can obviously, you can say that he should commit more on the defensive end of the floor. That's a big issue to me as well. But like for this era of basketball, Dame is one of them. But it just so happens that he's with Steph Curry. Like you're not going to get that same amount of praise. You don't deserve the same amount of praise as Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? You haven't accomplished the things Steph Curry has accomplished. And quite frankly, Dame, you're just not as good as Steph Curry, but you're still an amazing basketball player. He went to the Bucks this year, and I think that he thought they were going to do something different than what they did. And maybe if they would have accomplished the things that a lot of people thought they were going to accomplish, then, you know what I mean? Then it would have been something else. But
Ox, where does he fall in the pantheons of guards, just of his era? So him, Russ, Irv, Curry, John Wall. I ain't talking about all time. I'm just talking about just.
He's not top 10 all time.
I'm just talking about the guys in this era. Like I said, him, Russ, Curry, Paul, Harden, Wall. Like where does he fall?
He's behind those guys. He's with Kyrie and John Wall. Like,
I would take him over John Wall, but
he's with Kyrie and John Wall. I don't think, especially I can't put him ahead of Chris Paul. I can't put him ahead of James Harden. Obviously I can't put him ahead of Steph Curry, but I think he's in that mix with Kyrie. I think he's in that mix with like Kyrie.
Now, Ox, we are, and it sounds like putting him with James Harden and guys like Russ. I think the MVPs may separate them. Yeah. But with that being said, I mean, damn, Ox, I'm coming in 6th and 7th place. I'm averaging 30 and 8. I'm averaging 28 and 7. So it's not like
I don't know if he had a run like James Harden though. I don't think he had a run. He has the consistency of those guys, and honestly, today he's probably better than James Harden right now.
Right.
I think so. But the James Harden and Russ got those like 5-year peaks that I think are ahead of Dame's peak years. And that's hard to beat because Dame has some years, you know what I'm saying, where he was really that dude. I mean, I think Dame gets a lot of love. I think Dame gets a lot of love. I think he expects to get like Steph Curry type praise. It's not going to happen. Bro.
You think it would be a little higher if he would have maybe got out of Portland a little sooner?
Yeah, he probably should have did that. He probably should have left maybe 2-3 years earlier. But he saw that money, and I mean, you can't blame him. You can't blame a brother for signing for $60 million a year.
And we still dealing with the same issues, though. It's not like he leaves Portland and he goes to, I don't know, let's say he goes to Phoenix and they build, let's say, a better unit around him. Do they build a unit around him to protect him, unlike what Milwaukee is doing? Which means we still gonna run into the same problems. We still gonna run into the same dude in the playoffs who, when we get later on in the playoffs, the shooting woes, not only the shooting woes, he consistently gets hunted. And that effort isn't there on defense. A guy like Steph Curry, who isn't the best defender, but Steph will actually put that effort in, right? John Wall was an all-league defender. Irv would put that effort in as a defender. Dame Lillard, on the other hand, I think that's where the separator is. So when we get deep into the playoffs, these are the things that separate you from the other guys. I'm watching Steph Curry when they play against Dallas in the 22 Western Conference Finals, where they're consistently hunting him, where they're trying to get the switch with him and Luka. But he ain't trying to hear that. Right? He's not trying to hit it. He's fighting over screens. Dame, on the other hand, I mean, I've said this to you countless times, Ox. You don't switch 1s and 5s. And he's the type of dude who will do that in the playoffs. And that's going to wreck us. Well,
chill, I've been, for the past maybe year or two, I've been calling Dame a chucker. I think at this point he's doing a lot of chucking, and it's, I don't know, but I think Giannis is coming with the vengeance this year. So I don't know if Dame can get it right. They can make a run. I don't think they're going to win it, but they can shake it up this year.
That's what I was going to ask you, Alex. Because how much more can Giannis do? We're talking about 29, 12, 30 and 13. How much more can he do?
Efficient season too.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to make sense of. How much more can he do than he's already done? They're long in the tooth at the 5 spot. They still haven't gotten any perimeter players to protect Dame Lillard on the defensive end. I mean, how much more can Giannis do?
He can stay healthy.
He can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I could get with that.
He can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, then they got action. Well, I'm as much as I say about like Dame being a chucker and this and that. If Giannis can stay healthy, they got action.
I think they still have a legitimate chance in the Eastern Conference as well, because when I'm looking at the Sixers and the Knicks, I'm thinking there's still a world where the Bucks beat this team in a 7-game series, in my opinion. I think they're going into the season like
7-game series.
The 76ers, the Knicks, the Magic, the Cavs. I still think they have solid chances against teams like that in the Eastern Conference setting where they could see themselves in the Eastern Conference Finals next year.
Right.
I think that's
largely. I agree. Maybe not the Knicks and the Celtics, but everybody else I can see.
I think Milwaukee is fool's gold, and it's largely due to Dame Lillard at the one spot and him just being able to just be a bucket getter and a distributor, but getting hunted on defense. That's the difference in what they did last year. Don't get me wrong. Like you said, Ox, Giannis could get himself in better shape. Not better shape. I'll take that back. He's in great shape, but he can be healthier. He could definitely do that. But when your lead guard is that deficient, as a defender, I mean that's been a huge problem. And if you think about where the biggest hole is in the East, I mean you got Jalen Brunson in the East, or you got Maxey in the East. These guys are making a beeline to Dame Lillard. Right. I'm watching Tyrese Maxey look at Dame Lillard like, yup, this one right here. He can't cover me. He cannot cover me. Now Giannis can do everything that he possibly can to help win. But if I got a guy in Dame Lillard who's only just going to go bucket for bucket with somebody, at some point we got to get stops. And he hasn't consistently shown me that he can do that. That's why I think the Milwaukee Bucks are fool's gold.
I also think they whiffed on the draft too. Like if you just look and if we look at some of the players that were available at the time, Ryan Dunn was still available, who was the best perimeter defender in that draft class. Kevin McCullough, who was about 22 years old and looked very seasoned as a rookie coming into the league. I just think a lot of people they could have grabbed would have been more win now players, especially in this draft, who had a lot of more win now players in this draft than other drafts would have. I just think they whiffed on the draft, in my opinion.
They just need some better perimeter defense over there in Milwaukee. If they made some, well, Pat Bevan is real now, right? So it's like if they, I see it like you can build around Damian Giannis. Like Damian Giannis are pieces you can build around. That was the big deal when they made the trade. First of all, I just didn't like how Giannis sold Drew. That was a big deal to me. I just didn't like how he sold Drew. But with that being said, they still could have done something. People wasn't feeling me when I said they should have held on to Grayson Allen if they could have. They could have held on to some of those guys. If they could have got some more perimeter defense over there, I wouldn't be mad at the team. I mean,
Ox, you just brought something up, Ox. I want to stop you right there, and I want you to keep going. You just said that they could build around Giannis and Dame. Dame's 34 this season, going into this season. What's the window for the Milwaukee Bucks in your estimation? How
Maybe this year and next year if they're lucky, if they can grab another couple pieces.
So 2 more years tops is the window for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No more than 2. No way. No more than 2.
That's as far as you go in 2 years.
Yeah. Unless because Giannis is 29, 30.
He'll be 30 in December.
Yeah. So they can draw it out by grabbing some 2 more pieces. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds crazy. Because I know we're talking about they need some perimeter defense. But like, say if they were able to get like, no, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. Never mind. But let's just say like they were able to get some more pieces. You know what I mean? And
right.
I can see it, but not like this. If they stay as they are, then they don't even got. I don't even know if this year is a window. They got to do something.
If any perimeter defenders come available, what do they really have to give up? They don't have their picks. I don't think a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, give me Chris Middleton, give me Gary Trent. I don't think they have the assets to go get a guy that can really make an impact on the defensive side of the floor.
I got a couple members. Shout out to Josh for becoming a member with the Chris Middleton profile. Shout out to you. And then we also have Riz. Shout out to Riz. But I wanted to ask, going back to what Chill said about Dame isn't Steph. And I think most people agree he's not Steph when it comes to shooting.
Not Dame, though. Dame thinks he is.
Okay, most people. But do you think there's anything Dame does when it comes to shooting better than Steph, or he's just worse at everything?
I think we can have a conversation about his pull-up game in the mid-range. I think we can have a legit conversation because Dame, I think he's especially going left. I think Dame is really good going left in the mid-range, pulling up, navigating to spaces, and not just navigating to spaces, but also creating space in the mid-range, getting away from guys. I think we can have a conversation between him and Steph. I think Steph's handle is better.
I don't know if that's a conversation, Chill. I think Dame got that.
So you think I don't know. The reason why I'm saying that is because I think about Damian. I think about Steph Curry's handle, and I think about how Steph can maneuver in the mid-range and how quick his trigger is. I feel like that's always been a separator between Steph and all the other shooters. I think his trigger is quicker than all the other guys. So with Steph having that kind of handle and being able to get it off as quick as he is, especially in the mid-range, and him and Dame about the same size, if Dame maybe an inch or so shorter than him. But I feel like Dame in the mid-range, I think that's probably the only way, that's the only place we can have the conversation. At the long ball line, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I do think that Dame, we're not talking about finishing at the ring. We're just talking about shooting. Like I said, I do think Dame in the mid-range and at the free throw line, and then when we talk about in the clutch, I think we can have a conversation. But ultimately, Damian Lillard is not Steph Curry, and I don't think that he was ever better than him. I think we can have conversations about him at some point, but I don't think he was ever better than him.
John D, how about you? Anything that Dame does as a shooter better than Steph in your opinion?
I don't think so, and that's not really a strike against Damian Lillard when saying he's not the best shooter of all time. But we can have some conversations with a few things. I like the point that Joe brought up with the mid-range shooting, but I just think shooting wise, I think Steph is better at every aspect, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Ox, how about you? Anything Dame does well?
I just think that mid-range and that coming around screens and stuff like that, pulling up at the mid-range, I think he's more dangerous.
Okay, interesting. I'm one of the, I guess, I'm definitely the minority up here, but just maybe in general, I'm on the Dame has a deeper range than Steph Curry train. I think Dame's better from further out than Steph is.
How much further out, Mars? Now, when we talk,
I'm talking like 30 plus feet. I think Dame better from those extreme ranges than Steph is. The mid-range thing, I mean, I could go statistically and say, well, Steph shoots more mid-ranges and is more efficient than Dame is for their careers and at their best seasons. I could be like, well, statistically, Steph's better, but like that's neither here nor there. I'm taking Steph in the mid-range, but I'm definitely on the side of from extreme ranges. I got Dame, and while you guys were talking about the Bucks' chances and stuff, I decided to look it up statistically to see if my thoughts were held any merit. So let me know if you guys can see this. These are players' stats over the last 4 or 5 seasons from 30 plus feet in terms of shot attempts from 30 plus feet. Trae Young has the highest volume in a season at 144 attempts, but he shot 32%. Dame in 2020 shot 130 and shot 42%. Then the next highest volume season is 126 on 33% with Dame. Then Dame again 117 on 33%. You've then got 2021 Steph, where he shot 104 at 39%, but then his next best season is 89 attempts on 200 at 24%. Then his next best season is 72 on 25%, then 23% on 62 attempts. So with this being said, Dame is clearly the more efficient shooter from these extreme ranges, and he shoots more than them, more of them than Steph does. So am I crazy to say I think Dame shoots from further better than Steph does, or do these numbers not really mean anything to you guys?
I think they mean something, Mars. But when I also think we got to factor in, when he did it, who he did it against, how often did he do it. I mean, sure, you brought up the shot attempts, where what was it, 40? I think it was 42%, that 41.9, so 42%. And, 42%. And Curry's, I think that was that 22 season. That was the year that they won the NBA championship. I mean, he shot 39, almost 40%. So
that was the 21 season he shot.
21. That was the year he led the league in scoring that year. Sure. Yeah, so I do think it's a conversation with shooting that far back. But when I think about Steph Curry off the bounce, that far back, around 28, 29 feet. And it just seems like every shot that Curry shoots in that area, especially off the bounce, it just seems like it's a huge shot. Don't get me wrong. I think Damian Lillard's shots are big, but they for some reason, they don't seem like they lead to much. Meanwhile, Curry, they just seem like they're back-breaking shots with him.
Okay. So in terms of just doing it on the biggest stage,
It just feels like it's bigger when Curry does it as opposed to when Damian Lillard does it. That's not to say that Dame, I mean, he's ended series. Don't get me wrong, he's ended a playoff series with 26-footers, and he's done it more than once. Right, I get with that. But I feel like Curry has done it. It seems like it means more when Curry does it.
I think that has to do with a lot of the people that were around Steph, because when we look at that Prime Warriors team, this was a team that could turn a 3-point deficit to a 11-point lead in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Right. So I just think seeing Steph hit a shot like that, now Klay's going, now KD's going, now Andre Iguodala's hitting corner threes, and Draymond Green's hyped up and playing good defense. That would be the back-breaking thing and saying like, okay, now this team is hot. Now there's really nothing we can do.
Right. I agree. I agree with Johnny. That's what I was gonna say. I wasn't gonna bring all those guys into it. I was gonna say the biggest difference, honestly, to me with Dame and Steph, the biggest difference is Klay Thompson. I mean, like that's if you honestly, that's the biggest difference in their career is Klay Thompson. I think skill set wise, Dame had the ability to be closer to what we think like Steph. You know what I mean? There's some clear differences. I understand, but as far as like the way we talk about Dame, I think it's Klay Thompson. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those shots for Steph when he's shooting these, it just looks a lot. It looks a lot different. The floor's a lot more spread out. You know what I'm saying? It's. I think Klay has a lot to do with things. Man.
You dudes don't give Klay Thompson nearly as much credit as you should as a shooter, and I mean that means a lot when you got a guy. It's like running with another scorer. When you're a bucket getter and you're running with another bucket getter that could get busy at any point. When you're running with a guy that stretches the defense like Klay Thompson, how far he stretches the defense, he makes life a lot less difficult for Steph Curry because you don't have to just focus on me. And if you're going to just say, okay, we'll let Klay Thompson shoot, if we're going to let Klay Thompson shoot, that's how you get these dudes in the NBA championship 5 straight years.
Dame definitely never had a Klay. But I could argue that Steph's maybe most impressive shooting season was a year without Klay. I could argue that. But they also never made the playoffs that year. So then it goes back to, well, would they have the same level of team success without Klay?
But they were a playoff team, no Mars. And
they were an 8 seed. They just
I could counter that with, I mean, Damian Lillard did have a 20-a-game guy for 6 years in a nightmare Western Conference. He had a dude he was running with for 6 straight years that averaged 20 a game. There are some people who've told me that CJ McCollum, especially at that time, might be the best player not to make the All-Star team. And this is the dude he's running with. He's running with a 20 game.
Respect CJ, but it's not like Klay.
I ain't saying he's Klay Thompson. I'm not saying he's Klay Thompson, but he ain't chopped liver neither.
Yeah, but it's less about the quality of the player and more just about the space in which they provide. Klay can't create like CJ can, but in terms of just the space Klay gives Steph compared to CJ giving Dame, it's just different. I think, even though I think CJ can go get to a bucket better than Klay can, it's just a different in terms of, I guess, defensive attention. And I don't mean, and I'm not trying to disrespect Steph. I still think he's by far the best shooter ever. I just think in order to be the best at something, I don't think you have to be the best at every aspect of it. I don't think Steph is the best in terms of shooting from further away. I just think he's the best at shooting in totality in terms of off the dribble, off screens, off the catch, wide open, contested, in the mid-range, free throws. You culminate it all together, Steph is on top. But I don't think if you just break it into every single category, I don't think that means he's the best at every single one. It's the same thing with defense. I think Hakeem or Bill Russell is the best defender ever. That doesn't mean I'm picking them to go stop Kyrie on an island one-on-one. Like, the whole attribute doesn't mean you have to be the best at every single part. I think statistically, Dame has shown he's better from 30 feet. I think just watching him, you can see it's a more comfortable shot for Dame, personally. Like, you watch Dame shoot from 30, it looks like he's shooting his regular jumper. You look at Steph shooting from 30, it looks more so like he's throwing it up there. Now, he's still making them because he's Steph, but I think in just terms of the comfortability, I just think it looks different for Steph versus Dame. Dame just looks a lot more comfortable shooting from that extreme range, in my opinion. So, and someone said Dame just now started doing it. Okay, I never said Dame was the first one to do it. I never said Dame was the pioneer. If you want to get technical, I saw Gilbert Arenas doing it in 06. I'm not, like, my point isn't about who started it. My point is about who's the best at doing it. I think Dame does it better than anyone. That doesn't mean I think he was the first to do it. If you want to say Dame was influenced by Steph, that's fine. Dame can answer that himself. But in terms of who does it the best, I think Dame does it better than anyone at this point. I think he's shown it in regular season and postseason. He's more comfortable shooting from them extreme ranges. He does it off the bounce more often. And it just looks more like a natural shot for him. Whereas Steph, it looks a lot less natural when he does it, even though he does make them. So that's just where I'm at with it. I know the Curry fans going to get mad at me because I didn't say Steph's the best at everything. But I'm sorry. I think the best shooter ever isn't the best at every category of shooting. Sue me. But that's where I'm at with it.
And they showed up around the same time too, by the way. It's not like they.
Well, yeah, Steph wasn't shooting 30-footers when Dame entered.
Yeah,
he didn't really start doing it.
They
until
showed
like
up around
15.
the same time, and the 3-point revolution. I mean, when Steph showed up, it didn't get enhanced until years later. It wasn't like soon as Steph and Clay got together, because Clay showed up in 11, and soon as they got together, it was that. No, it took years for that to actually become that. So it's not like that just immediately became that. But I'm sorry if I interrupted, Miles. Go ahead.
No, you're good at it. It's not like I don't understand what more you want. Like you can disagree with me, but if Dame factually shoots more from that range than Steph, and factually shoots a higher percentage from that range than Steph, what are you combating me with? Like what else are you coming at me with? If Dame shoots them more at a higher clip, what do you want? What is your argument for Steph in that case? Because you can't say, oh, well, they're blitzing Steph at half court and then act like that's not the case with Damian Lillard. Like, that's a lie. Like, so I don't understand what he said they guard Steph at half court. Go watch them guard Dame. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, whatever. Anyway, yeah.
Dame is not coming across half court unmolested with the basketball.
Like, that's like, I don't understand. I don't understand what you want. Like,
they're not just letting Dame walk up to the long ball line. They're not doing that. No. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Curry doesn't demand the attention that he demands, but it's not like they're looking at Dame going, yeah, I'll deal with him one-on-one. No, he's getting jumped too. Yes, he is.
Yeah, and someone said, so you think they guard him like Steph? Well, no, I think they guard Steph differently because of what he does away from the basketball. But I think when it comes to bringing the ball across half court, yes, they pick up Dame instant. That's what they do. The same thing they do with Steph because they know they are a threat from out there. See, this is the thing. You guys just don't listen. You just want to argue. What I'm saying is Damian Lillard, when he crosses half court, gets given the same treatment as a shooting threat from that range as Steph Curry does. The reason Steph gets more overall defensive attention is because of away from the ball, Steph Curry's movement is a next level compared to Dame. Dame doesn't move away from the ball like Steph Curry. He doesn't come off screens like Steph Curry. He doesn't draw two away from the ball like Steph Curry. But when you're talking about just bringing the ball up the court, they're picking up Dame 94 feet. When Dame's calling for screens at half court and they're hedging, they're blitzing. That's what they're doing. Like anyone who watches Dame in Milwaukee or watches Dame in Portland, that's what they did. So I don't like you're just lying at this point. But that's besides the point. I wanted to bring up this graphic and I want to ask do you think Dame should be on it? It's the 3-point shooting Mount Rushmore. It's got Steph, Clay, Ray, and Reggie. Do you think Dame should be on this list? And if so,
over any of these guys?
Over any of these guys, yes.
No, hell no.
Anyone got Dame in their top 4 3-point shooters? Just 3-point shooting?
I think it's tough.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I can't.
No. Mm-mm. No.
Interesting. Why not? Why is he not on the level of those 4? And are those the 4 you would have? Would you change that top 4 and replace them with anyone? But if not, why is Dame not on that level?
Well, you just mentioned it yourself, Mars, when you said that just because I'm not better than you at everything doesn't mean that I'm better than you. So I always felt like that one thing that you do could separate you from the pack. And I feel like Reggie Miller as a catch and shoot guy, despite all the other stuff despite the stuff that Dame does, and plus the stage that Reggie Miller did it on, I think he's better. Clay is, I mean, I can make an argument. Klay Thompson is the best catch and shoot guy in NBA history. Even though I think it's Ray Allen.
Think he's better than Steph at shooting in one regard of shooting? You think Clay shoot? Oh my God, you hate Steph. You hate Steph.
I'm sorry.
You think he's better than Steph at something when it comes to shooting? Oh, you hate Steph.
Just a catch and shoot guy with the trigger that he's got at 6'7", that's hard to guard. There's not many guys that can do that. Now, it was Curry, it was Clay, it was Reggie Miller. Who else was on that list?
Steph, Ray, Clay.
Oh, and Ray Allen. I'm sorry, and Ray Allen. Yeah, it'd be difficult for me to put Dame. It'd be difficult for me to put Dame on that list because those guys have this one specialty that I feel like they're all better than him at, and that's that one thing which would be catch and shoot. I don't think that Dame outlasts them in everything else, and that one thing I feel like that's the separator.
Yeah, I think if we have to talk about anybody, I think the only person we can have a conversation with is Reggie Miller, and I'm really not even willing to do that. And I mean, y'all know, Mars, we've gone back and forth about this a few times. Y'all know I still got Ray. I still got Ray. So, it's Ray. Ray is the best shooter I've ever seen. You know what I mean? But it's only 4 spots. You know what I'm saying? So it's no knock to them. It's no knock to them.
So what would your order be, Ox? If those 4, just rank them 1 through 4.
Clay, Steph. I mean, I'm sorry, Ray, Steph, Clay, Reggie.
Okay. What about you, Cho?
I got Steph, Ray, Clay, Reggie.
And John D?
Steph, Ray, Clay, Reggie.
Okay, interesting. So Reggie would be the one who would be the most arguable to come to the list. And would Dame be the next up for you guys? Is Dame number 5 or is it someone else?
Shooters. Is Dame a better shooter than Mark Price?
Just 3-point shooting. This is just
okay. So we're
just
talking about we're talking about the long ball line. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Is he a better 3-point shooter than James Harden?
That's where I think the conversation has to be, in my opinion. That's James Harden's underrated, in my opinion. But
I mean, I think he cracks 3,000 this season.
Yeah, he's gonna pass Ray this season. Yeah, he's
gonna pass Ray this season, and I do think there's an argument for Dame and and James Harden at 5. Yeah, that's a tough one, Mars. That's a tough one. But I think the stage that Dame did it on, if I have had to pick between him and James Harden, I think the stage that Dame did it on, I think it was bigger, and I think he produced more. That's why I would have to say Dame over James Harden.
John D?
I think Dame, like you said, is better from deep. I think he's a better shooter than Harden.
So he'd be your 5th for Dame?
Mm-hmm.
And Ox?
See, hold on, Mars. Don't let him off the hook with that. Why is he better? What's going on, Jay? It's not I think he's better. What did Dame do in the playoffs? Because James Harden, first of all, he revolutionized the game. I'm going with Dame because I think the stage was bigger. I think that Dame poured it on more. Not only did he pour it on more, when the lights got bright between him and James Harden, he did everything he could with less than what James Harden had.
He's a better 3-point shooter in the clutch, in my opinion. I think he's a better mid-range shooter. I definitely think he has more off-ball ability than James Harden. I think Dame's the better 3-point shooter because of those reasons.
James Harden, for me, and I'm gonna get to Ox, I don't know where I'd have James Harden as a 3-point shooter, but the reason I think it's such a big conversation for me is because I don't think over a whole career you could really argue James Harden. But that 3-4 year stretch in Houston where he's shooting 12 or 13 a game and he's 36%-ish. But 80% of his threes were unassisted.
So do you know how crazy 5 shots?
Yeah, do you know how crazy it is that he's shooting 13 threes and 12 of them or 11 of them are being created just by him? He's creating his own 3 11 times a game. That's unheard of numbers. No one's ever done that. So yes, he didn't shoot 40% a bunch of times, and yes, he doesn't shoot it from 30 like Dame does. But if you're able to shoot 11 threes a game off your own creation,
right,
and you've made the second most of all time, and you're shooting the most threes per game in the league, strictly of you creating all your threes, I think that gets you in the conversation of the best 3-point shooters ever. Right. Now, the diversity of his threes and the actual efficiency of them going in, I think that's where he holds himself back. He's not Steph, but I think he's in that next group. I would put him in those conversations. Now, him or Dame, I don't know, but I think that's why James Harden is in that conversation. Even
Mars, that stat right there. When you read it to me, sounds like
you view him lesser. Yeah, you view him lesser.
when you read that stat to me, it sounds like bad basketball.
But Ox, what?
I mean, if you're making them, if you're hitting them, you hitting them. You know what I'm saying? I can't deny it.
But wouldn't that go, Ox, to how good of a shot creator I am and what I'm running with? Because remember, before he gets Chris Paul, I'm the not only am I the primary distributor, but I'm also the primary shot creator for myself. There's nobody creating shots for me. Like,
sure, I don't gotta be a good shot creator to chuck step back threes.
Well, you don't have to.
Like just because I can get the shot off doesn't mean it's a good shot.
Well, but that's the thing though, because I do
solid shots though.
I do have to create space, right? I do have to create space. Not only do I have to create space, I'm getting doubled, and I don't have anybody that's going to create shots for me. They're not running offense for me where I'm running off screens. I have the ball in my hands primarily. Dame, on the other hand, he is running with CJ where he could play off the basketball a little bit. He can run off screens, right? He could get to the long ball line. And I want to make sure I'm clear, Miles. We're talking strictly about the long ball. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. So they have action where he comes off screens, where he got double screen action or flare screens where Damian Lillard is at the long ball line. James Harden, on the other hand, all he's doing is creating shots for other people, especially at the long ball line, getting blitzed, very rarely getting in one-on-one situations. Why? Because I'm the primary ball handler and scorer, so people are doubling me, and I'm playing pick and roll basketball with the best of them, like Capella, and making him a threat, which is now making me more open. I feel like when you got a guy like that that's creating that kind of space, yeah, he has to be in the conversation. But Dame is right. I feel like Dame is a little bit different.
No doubt. And mind you, chill. When I said that, now obviously most people know how I do feel about James Harden's game at that point, but I know all those shots weren't bad shots. You know what I'm saying? I know that. I'm just saying when you read that stat to me, the first thing I think is like, well, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, pass the ball and move, catch it and shoot. That's just my style though. That's just my style.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think it comes down to effectiveness versus the actual skill itself. I think it's more effective to get a wide open catch and shoot three. That's what teams would probably want. If you can get Kyle Korver wide open catch and shoot, that's probably better than a James Harden step back three. But in terms of the skill of shooting, I think being able to self-generate your own shots, I think holds a large amount of weight.
Yeah.
When we just talk about the skill of it. So I think that's why I put James Harden in that category. But when you're talking about just like the impact of that shooting, I can understand James Harden being a bit lower because at the end of the day, 36% is still 36%. It's not as good as 45%. So I can understand that. But I got James Harden up there. I don't know whereabouts, but I got him up there. But I think most of us have Dame in and around the top 5 3-point shooters of all time. I think Dame probably has himself number 2. But I don't think that's too far off to where we can say Dame's crazy for viewing himself in that light. And I don't think he would say he's a better shooter than Steph. Now, I do think he probably thinks he's somewhat comparable, but I do think he would give the nod to Steph because I think Steph has probably got that by most people.
The thing about that now, real quick, back to that clip. Just opening the clip talking about Klay Thompson is what threw me off. That just threw me off. Like I hold Klay Thompson in a very high regard as far as just a shooter. You know what I mean? I hold him in a very high regard. So that just kind of lost me.
Well, it started because they were sort of saying basically outside of Steph, Dame and Klay are like the next two. And then obviously Jeff Teague had to reminisce about Klay giving him 60. Also, shout out to the 520 podcast. That's where that clip came from. Jeff Teague getting that interview with Dame. Appreciate the content, Jeff Teague. Very good content. But we got a couple super chats, and then we're going to get back into some more things Dame said, because this is going to be a Damian Lillard show. NP13 said, Dame is great until that second round starts and he forgets how to shoot. He's consistent with the playoff dropping. That's as far as I go for him. You guys still worried about Dame in terms of a playoff performer on the Bucks, or do you think he can turn that little thing around?
100%. That's something I would still be worried about. I mean, like Chill said, this is a guy that's going to be attacked defensively. I mean, we're coming off of one of his most inefficient seasons last season, which I don't think he's going to really be at that level next season, but I would definitely still be worried about it, especially knowing the pressure that Damian Lillard and the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be undergoing into the postseason next season.
I can get with that. I think the defense is a concern, but that's why DeSarmo sent the super chat saying, I like the Bucks moves. 6'5" DeLon Wright and 6'6" Taurean Prince, 2 glue guys with some size around Dame. People, the thing people said last summer was that Luka and Kyrie can't work. They got to the finals and lost to a super team. Not sure about the Luka and Kyrie correlation. But do you guys like the Bucks off-season moves in terms of Torian Prince and DeLon Wright, and who else did they bring in? I'm sure Drink the Water.
Gary Trent.
Gary Trent, that's it. That was their Malik Beasley replacement. And Gary Trent. Do you think the Bucks are a better team than they were last year on paper?
No. I don't think so. I don't think Torian Prince and who was the other one? Not Gary Trent, but the other
DeLon
one.
Wright.
DeLon Wright. Yeah, those guys aren't the difference in terms of protecting Dame Lillard as a deficient defender. No, I don't. And on top of that, over the last couple of seasons, I mean, Dame had the rib injury, and then last year he had the Achilles injury. So I'm starting to. I mean, he is getting long in the tooth. I think like we think that these guys are going to play forever, and when they start breaking down, that this is just an anomaly. No, it's not. It is not an anomaly. And no, Mars, I don't think that the Milwaukee Bucks did enough to protect Damian Lillard. No, when I think about what the Celtics did, when I think about what the Knicks did with OG Anunoby and with Mikal Bridges, that's great in protecting Jalen Brunson. I think they did a great job with that. Same thing with the Boston Celtics, with Drew Holiday, with Derek White, and protecting any of their deficient guards, right? They didn't do that. I feel like they got that in Indiana with Tyrese Halliburton, who is a little deficient on defense, with having Mathurin and having this kid Nembhard. These guys are defenders. They will compete on the defensive end. Having Torian Prince, not only having Torian Prince, but also DeLon Wright. Dame's going to play a lot. So you need a guy out there, one, that's going to protect him, and two, that's going to make him commit on the defensive end. You don't have that. So what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to outscore people. We've already seen Giannis does not want to go to the stripe and the meat and potatoes of the game. So because he doesn't want to go to the stripe and the meat and potatoes of the game, that means you got to have the basketball, which is going to wear you out because they're going to attack you defensively. So the Milwaukee Bucks are fool's gold, Mars. I'm not buying it. They are.
John, Ox, you guys buying Bucks stock for next season or?
Nah. I think they can make it interesting against a number of Eastern Conference teams, but when I see it like Eastern Conference Finals, NBA Finals chances, I just really don't think they have the depth, one, and I don't think they have the perimeter defenders to contain a Brunson or to contain a Tatum or to contain a Tyrese Maxey. I think it's going to be tough in a 7-game series to really ask Damian Lillard to be like, okay, I need you to be consistent on the offensive end, and I also need you to give some effort defensively when he'll be 34-35 this season coming up. I just think that's going to be something that's hard to do. And Brook Lopez is declining on defense. Chris Middleton is declining on defense. I think it's hard to ask.
If John D gave me $1,000 for my birthday, and the Bucks stock was on the clearance rack,
you're not buying it up?
I wouldn't purchase it.
You holding on to that?
I wouldn't purchase it. Yeah, no way. I'd rather give John D his bread back than purchase the Bucks stock on the clearance rack. I'm not doing it.
Seems like Bucks stock is at an all-time low. So if you want to maybe get a nice come up,
get it now.
Purchase some Bucks stock because it's at the lowest point it's ever been apparently. And MP13 seems to be right there alongside you guys. He said Giannis needs to get out of there. Honestly, with the cap restriction, an aging cast, and a playoff dropping point guard, he's going to waste away there and lose. So you guys saying Giannis needs to
waste?
That's going to happen. I can guarantee you that is going to happen in about 5 seasons. We're going to be talking about how Giannis should have left and how they got that one ring in 2019, right? 19? No, not 21, my bad. 19, that was the Raptors. Sure. Yeah, we're going to be talking about, they got one ring and this and that. That's the last ring Giannis is going to win. He's not going to win another one, and he's not going to leave Milwaukee. Yep. He's going to waste away in Milwaukee, and it's going to be, I was loyal, and he's going to be on the podium talking about, well, everything's not about winning, and it's going to be one of them things.
John, you had something to say about Giannis?
I think the ring definitely pushes Giannis to stay a little bit longer, especially when we look at what's happened after winning the championship. Chris Middleton goes down. They lose to the Boston Celtics in round 2. Then Giannis isn't able to play in the first round and they lose to Miami. Then Giannis isn't able to play again this season and they lose to the Pacers. And now it's like we're in a no man's land where it's like we have Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is still, in my opinion, the best player in the Eastern Conference. We have this big name in Damian Lillard who's making all this money. We just have to really try and piece a team around these two players, or piece a team around this core to try and be contenders, and they just don't have the assets to do that. So year in and year out, there's going to be a small decline every single season to the point where it's like we cannot win at all with this squad.
So two things. One, let's stop letting Giannis off the hook for what happened against the Miami Heat. He played the rest of the series. He missed that game, but he played the rest of the series. He had almost a 40-20 game. In the closeout game in Game 5, that ball was like it was radioactive. He was running from it. He did not want the basketball at the end of the game. So let's not let Giannis off the hook for that. Are we sitting here saying that Giannis is going to waste away in Milwaukee? I mean, if that's true, then how much longer does he stay there? He just signed an extension. That's why I think that I don't think he leaves. That's why I think that this window with last year, it was a 3-year window. So now it's a 2-year window. That's why he signed that 3-year extension. Because now they had 3 years to do it. So now they got 2 years to do it. And if they don't do it in these next 2 years, I think Giannis is gone.
Watch, Chill. They're gonna do something like Trae Young. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be something like that. Like they're gonna grab Trae Young or somebody. Or I don't know.
They're gonna replace Dame with younger Dame.
Yikes!
You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to tell you, I see it happening already. They're gonna go grab a guy like Trae Young, or I don't know, a disgruntled superstar somewhere. God forbid, Jalen Brunson tweaks an ankle in the Knicks, and the Knicks don't re him up after he took the pay cut. You know what I mean, or something like that. I don't know. It's gonna be somebody in 3 to 4 years. They're gonna go get somebody. I'm telling you, you know what? I'm telling you, it's gonna be Trae Young. It's gonna be Trae Young. That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be Trae Young. I can stamp it, and then that's not gonna do anything, and it's just gonna be terrible. It's gonna be one of the most wasted things I've ever seen. Besides what the Warriors are about to do with Steph Curry these next 2-3 seasons.
Black man, what up?
What's up, y'all? What's up, black people?
What's up, black man?
What's going on, everybody? What's up, black people? What's going on? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody in the chat? Chill. What happened yesterday? Your internet dropped out on us. What happened?
The Xfinity got a tongue. I pay these people a lot of money for this.
And these people is crazy. That's the second these people from Chill in the last
first
2 days,
of all,
by the way.
Can you
dropped
focus
off on that.
Can you focus when I say
My bad.
these people? Can you when you focus? Would you please focus? Okay.
I'm just saying. That's just I'm not just saying you're from a particular generation. That's all I'm saying. My bad.
Right.
My bad.
So I let me rephrase that. I pay Xfinity a lot of money for this thing to work, and I don't need it to work sometimes or most times. I work from home, so I need this to work consistently. So some people got a talking to yesterday. I was very upset. Yes, they did.
Injury-prone Wi-Fi. I've been there, man.
But it's not though, Mars. That's the thing. That's why some people got roasted for that reason right there, because it was not that, right? It was my Wi-Fi is usually pretty durable. I could get 75 games, close to 80 games out of my Wi-Fi every season. But it's just those like those 3 or 4 games during the season where a rolled ankle or elbow in the side, like you might be out for the second and the third quarter. Like, yo, man, it's a big game.
You see, Chill. You see, John took advantage of my flu game on Sunday.
So you lost because of
I had a flu game.
Man, you lost because of Casamigos.
Because of Casamigos? Nah, Aqua. It was just straight water for me. No, I had a bad ankle that day, Chill.
I wouldn't be lying if I said I was like, oh, okay, he's gonna be on vacation. Let me, you know what I'm saying? But
get him. Don't let him off the hook.
I needed it.
Yeah, you gotta get your wins, man.
I needed it. I got family watching. I can't have not a single win. I can't.
This dude's stumbling in here. Hell yes, get him. Yes, sir. Don't let him.
You gotta take advantage if your opponent's compromised. Take advantage.
Sir. Stumbling in here.
It's tough for the wild cards out here. So I gotta
get him.
He said, "I got family watching." That's crazy.
Stumbling in here. Think I'm sweet. Okay, let's get to the
get your wins,
right
man.
Now.
Do what you gotta do. Now you 1 and 2. That might help your seeds in a little bit. Get you a favorable matchup. So I think that was a smart play. But Swiper, have you been able to see what we spoke about so far in the first hour of the show? Or you
I just got out of the meeting, man. I wanted to say hello to my friends. What's going on? What y'all talking about? Where we at?
Yeah, we just spoke a little bit about what Dame said on Jeff Teague's podcast, the 520 Club. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it or see any of the clips circulating, but we just spoke about Dame and how he believes he doesn't get the respect he deserves, particularly as a shooter, in terms of what he does off the dribble and how consistent he's been. And then we just spoke about where Dame ranks in the pantheon of 3-point shooters. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on where do you think Dame stands?
Mars, do you have that clip that you can give him some more context?
Can you I saw.
You saw it. Okay,
I saw people responding to it first, Chill, on Twitter, because people were saying, shout out Josh Ellerby, my Canadian brother, but he was talking about how like Dame jumped a lot of people for the top 75 all time team, and I'm like, where's that coming from? Just random Dame shots. And then I saw the clip, and I'm like, oh, okay, bet. I get it, understand. But no, I mean, the best. I don't think he's above Ray Allen. I think that's been a conversation that's been happening online. Is Dame, I don't know how y'all feel about this, but Dame at his apex, is he last 6 years top 3 shooter in the league?
Just 3-point shooter or just shooter?
Just three.
We was talking about the long ball.
Yeah, just threes. Yeah, I think you'd have to put him in the top 3. I think so.
James Harden?
Curry?
Steph, James Harden, and Dame is probably what I'd go last.
I'm good with that.
Years,
in the last 6 years, I mean, Klay Thompson missed them 2 years, so I think he's off the board. So yeah, I can get with that.
Yeah,
sure.
No love for Buddy and Trey.
No.
Trey, I wouldn't put in there just because I think the efficiency is a bit too far behind. And Buddy, I mean, he in the Luke Kennard school of I don't shoot unless I'm wide open, and it just.
Mars, can you handle dudes that can't shoot unless they're wide open?
Like, I get it, you a 45% 3-point shooter, but I'm sorry if you're not going to shoot if someone attempts a closeout. I just don't respect it. Like, at some point, you're not even spacing the floor at that point, in my opinion. So, like, he kind of
accounting for the defenses Dame sees too. I think that's where it's important, and I think that's why whenever you're accounting for shooters, I think that even if percentage is lower than normal, how is this player being guarded on the court? How frequent are they creating their own 3-pointers as well? Like, I think all that stuff goes into how effectual you are as a 3-point shooter. Because even Steph can go, 2 of 10, but he's still the most effective 3-point shooter in the NBA. Just on the basis of how people guard him.
That's exactly what he just said. That's exactly what I was talking about. Like, if he goes 2 for 10, the 2 shots that he hit, they back-breaking shots. They're just bigger shots than if this dude goes, 5 for 11. Like, how much of an effect did those shots really have on? I just feel like Steph does that more.
Yeah, and he still, no matter what, he can be 0 for 7, and the defense is still going to move.
They're still good. He couldn't.
What
about 0 for 7 and they don't want him to shoot the 8th? Like, it's just
What about just like guys that are more?
He's still getting double.
Facts. What about guys that are more so just like 3-point specialists though? Like, are we just talking about like high value guys that have the ball a lot, or can we talk about just like 3-point specialists like Kevin Huerter? I know you just about
Buddy Hill, Luke Kennard, Gary Trent would be in. Like, I think they're just they're in like for me personally, that's like a subcategory of just that's the Kyle Korver category in my opinion. He's at the president of that category. I just feel like when we talk about the skill of shooting, I feel like they just don't do enough in terms of the versatility to be up there with the Stephs, the Dames, the James Hardens. I feel like Luke has elevated into that level now this past season, like those guys. So I wouldn't put them in that group, but I'd put them in their own like spotter, off-ball movement shooter category. And I think that still provides exceptional value. I just don't think it's as valuable.
You know what? That's a really interesting point, and that's probably another reason. And this is legitimately just basketball. He's the first name I thought about. I'm thinking about who are the high 10 3-points per game shooters that are like threats. But then I think the outlier of that is Tatum. Tatum takes a lot of threes, but I don't think he is not guarded as a shooter similarly to some other player. But I just think that's more so because he's a wing, but he's not considered like KD. Like KD is a wing that's a 3-point shooter that people like. I think it's just guarded. I think Tatum gets guarded, but I think that's where some of it hurts. It's like Tatum, if he made those threes at a higher clip, then I think his offensive game would go like through the roof.
He found a way to say Tatum.
No, Tatum's great. I'm just saying that Tatum, that's just what he is though. Like he be chucking threes. He's just not like a elite 3-point shooter. But should Tatum go, let's say he has a season where he shoots next season Tatum shoots 39.6% from three on 10 attempts a game. He's murdering folks. At that point, he's like that's how Tatum gets into like
top 3,
top 5, top 4 player in the world. Because if he's hitting that kind of 3
if you're shooting 10 threes a game and you making almost 4 of them per game, so on a Tuesday, I'm good for almost 4. That means that on a good night,
that's
I can give you
6 points a game right there.
Yeah,
and he can get to the rim, and he can get to the free throw line.
Yes, I won't argue that. I think what he shot last year was I think he shot
37.6.
I was about to say 38 last year.
Yeah, 8.2. And then the playoffs was a different ball game. We just want to ignore that and just hope that he gets back to the mean. But for anyone wondering, the league leaders in 3-point attempts per game last year: Steph number 1 at nearly 12, shot 41%. Luka number 2, 10.5 at 38%. Clay shot 9 at 39%. So the Mavs have 2 of the top 3 going into next season. Dante DiVincenzo at 8.7 on 40% shooting. Yeah, Dante DiVincenzo had an underrated shooting year. Dame at 8.5, 35%, one of the lowest marks of his career. CJ 8.4, 43%. Jayson Tatum 8.2, 37.5%. Bogdanovic 8 on 37.5%. Tyrese Maxey 8 on 37%. And then at 10, Fred VanVleet 8 on 39%.
Go down to the mall and see how many he shot and what his percentage was and why he needs to shoot more of them.
Jamal Murray. Let's find Jamal Murray.
7.4, 7.2.
Jamal Murray this past year shot 5.8 on
42.5%. That's what I'm saying. His volume needs to go up. That's stupid for me.
That's the same issue I have with Kyrie. Kyrie's such a good shooter, but he loved the mid range, and I understand like you can make mid range. He's at 50% from mid range, but you shooting 40% from 3. This past year, I think he shot 7, which is like I want to say a career high maybe, but like Kyrie could really get up 8-9 threes a game, and like I think it would just elevate him even more. So just the volume I think becomes more important than efficiency at certain like levels of 3-point shooting. Like I'd rather have the 38% shooter on 11 attempts than the 41% shooter on 7 attempts. Personally.
Well, that's the thing though, Mars. How invaluable is it, even if you have a team that doesn't have adequate floor spacing, like elite level floor spacing? If you're top 10 in 3-point attempts, how much does that matter?
It just gives you a larger, a higher ceiling, because any given night you can go 22 for 40 and blow a team out. Now the floor is also lower because bad shooting nights exist too. But any team that gets up a bunch of threes, I think last year the 2 leading teams in 3-point attempts were Boston and Dallas. I don't think it's coincidental that they were the 2 teams in the finals. I mean, and Denver are routinely at the bottom of the league. So their floor on offense is pretty good. They routinely get good shots in the mid-range at the elbows. They get very good looks from 3. But I also think the reason they don't explode for 140, 150 points is because they don't get up a bunch of threes. So it's a lot more even playing field in terms of a night-to-night basis. You kind of know what you're getting from Denver.
But that's the thing. That, I think, is the solution to basketball right there, because if I'm Malone, you speed up the Wolves. Speed them up consistently. But then you slow down the Celtics. I think you just have that. That's how offenses for me have to be built. If you have a personnel or players on your roster that you can play in between those styles, then I think you need to speed up these teams that are bigger, that have rim protection, and that are going to offer you a lot of size and defensive versatility. Put them in transition, get the shots up. But again, versus teams like the Celtics that want to play as fast as crap, man, slow them down, get them in the half court, and you make it a rock throw. Like, I think that's how, like, you have to be able to adjust in the league right now. But I just think some coaches are they're just behind. They're just behind on some of that stuff.
Shout out to Joe Mazzulla. I think he's a smart coach. I wanted to show him some love. But Clad Diamond became a member. Shout out to Clad Diamond. Trae Young profile. He's another one of the elite 3-point shooters.
And throughout the chat for the whole show.
Oh yeah, I've been reading. I mean, he a Hawks fan. He gonna write. Trae Young, one of those other ones, shoots from far away, and he gets a lot of defensive attention out there. Dubs, the money main, said shout out to the panel. Dubs Seattle, it was lit. Cap. But shout out to you. Masenko G said Dame can shoot deeper than Steph. I agree. Yeah, I think it's an interesting conversation. NP13 said dub host, get run out of here. Facts, I'll run. Dimitri became a member. Shout out to Dimitri.
Word.
And then Antoine said Garland is underrated. He's an elite shooter, passer, pick and roll player. If he had a little more twitch/looseness in his hips with his handle and creativity and balance, he's a 26 point per game guy.
Well,
do you guys think Garland
whenever I hear stuff like that, Mars, like Garland is underrated. When you say underrated, well, where do you have him rated? Is Garland a top 5 league guard in the game? I don't think so. How about a top 10 league guard in the game? I think that we can have a conversation about him possibly being that. He's definitely not a top. He's definitely not a top 15 player in the game. He's definitely not a top 20 player in the game. Not a top 25 player in the game.
Not top 30.
Right, top 30 player in the game. So when you talk about him being underrated, right? So when you talk about him being underrated, where do you have him rated at? I don't think he's a top 5 league guard in the game. I think you can have a conversation about him being a top.
How much better is he than D'Angelo Russell?
How much better is he?
I
think he's better. I think he's better than D'Angelo Russell as one, getting downhill, 2, shot creation, 3, he's a better distributor than D'Angelo Russell. I do think he's also a better defender than D'Angelo Russell too. So a better defender than D'Angelo Russell too. And with all of that mixed in, I don't think that him and D'Angelo Russell are the same. I think he's better than D'Angelo Russell.
I think people were weird about D'Angelo Russell. I think he's good. I don't think he's great. I think Garland's better.
The Nuggets series don't help him at all. To be,
it doesn't.
The playoffs in general just doesn't.
Yeah,
help.
They don't help. They don't help him at all because he's just coming off a career year.
I mean, I don't think Garland was.
I don't think.
I'm talking about 2 years ago.
Well, when they played the Knicks.
Yeah, I picked them in that series to win, and then they
a
bad beat.
I don't think Garland has been great in the playoffs, and I think that just comes from. I think Garland, he just inside the 3-point line. I just don't think he's a very good scorer. He doesn't get to the line very well. He's often he's contact averse in terms of he doesn't want to play through contact. Yeah. So he ends up trying to like make a bunch of tough floaters that he can make, but I think it overall just drags down his efficiency and doesn't get him to the line. I think it's a big reason why I'm looking at it now. His 2-point percentages are always hovering around or below 50%. Sure. Like you shooting 50% on twos, yeah, it's probably not a recipe for success.
Now let me ask you this:
you're very jump shot reliant, and you're very jump shot reliant. And if you're not one of those shooters, you can have very bad scoring series or situations. And I think that's what holding Garland back. He can become better around the rim. Yeah, he's limited.
Well, with him being small, do you think the addition of because I think the addition of Donovan Mitchell kind of screwed him up a bit. We're talking about a guy who made the All-Star team in year 2. So he was on his way to doing something special. They were building that unit around him, Mobley, Jared Allen. They were doing that. But then Donovan Mitchell comes in, and now he's got to change his game. He's got to get off the ball more. He's got to play off the ball more, which he's not accustomed to. He was doing that when he was at Vanderbilt. He was playing on the ball. And he comes to the Cavs, and they basically give him the basketball. Not only do they give him the basketball, they sign him to the extension because they're going to make him the lead guard of the future. After he made the All-Star team, I thought he was getting downhill better. I thought that he was playing more in the mid-range than what he had done before Donovan Mitchell showed up. I felt like the addition of Donovan Mitchell kind of threw his game off some where he had to now cater to Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell was the better player. I won't argue that. And I don't think he's recovered from that yet.
I really think that this Cavaliers offense can open up a lot more if Evan Mobley's moved to the 5. I just think that opens up the offense a lot more.
What is this 5 thing, Mars? What's going on?
I really think
because he's great at the 5.
Did we watch the rest of the Magic series after Jared Allen? After Jared Allen went down, I think he was great in that series. I also think he was great in the Boston Celtics series. And I think Kenny Atkinson is going to want him to play on the perimeter just a little bit more, especially since he's going to be playing the 4. But I think he's best at the 5. I really think he's best at the 5. I think he defends the pick and roll great. It's the rim protection, the way he was able to guard Paolo and JT in space, the way he's able to guard the pick and roll. I think Evan Mobley is really good at the 5, man. I really do. I think that opens up the offense a lot more. I really do. Maybe get a little floor spacer at the 4, get a little more space for Garland and Donovan Mitchell to work. You got Evan Mobley as a consistent lob threat. I think that helps out the offense for the Cavs a lot. I just think it makes the team better. Right. I just think it makes the team better.
And I definitely want to get into this. Hey, my man in the chat, just so you know, I don't have a problem with people disagreeing with me. None whatsoever. Mars disagrees with me. Mars, do you agree with everything that I say, Mars?
No.
Right. How about you, Jay? Do you agree with everything that I say?
No.
Do you disagree? Do you disagree with everything I say, though? Like everything that comes out of my mouth? No.
John's new. He hadn't had a chance to learn that.
Swiper. Everything that comes out of my mouth? No. Everything? God damn. If that's the case, then why you even listening to me then? There's no reason for me to talk to you if everything that comes out of my mouth is wrong, according to you. No reason for you to talk to me whatsoever. But now back to your point. When I think about the 5-man, when I think about the 5-man, I'm thinking about a rim protector, which I think Evan Mobley is an elite rim protector. He also gets on the glass. But I feel like at the 4 spot, I feel like he creates such a mismatch because I'm still waiting on that jump, and I think it's coming offensively. I do. I think that offensive jump is coming where I think I'm going to get a 18 to 22 a game guy. I really feel like I'm going to get that from him. I know that sounds crazy, but I feel like I'm going to get that. He's shown me in the playoffs that he can knock down the long ball. He's shown me in the playoffs that he can knock down the mid-range. I think one of the major problems that they had last season was that he got injured. So there wasn't really a time where he can actually get a rhythm with the crew. If he can stay healthy and he creates such a mismatch problem at the 4, I just love him at the 4 more than I do at the 5. I do.
I can see it.
I just think the game has not gone away, but I think we're at a point where the Mobleys of the world, the Wembies, the Chets, to a lesser extent, Jaren Jackson, because I think he is a 4. But I think just generally speaking, I think those guys are 5s now. Now, 15 years ago, I think they're 4s. But now I just think with the call for versatility, with post-ups becoming less and less a factor of a lot of teams' offenses. Now, there are the exceptions, obviously, but I think help side rim protection, roaming, pick and roll coverages, all of those things just are higher on the pecking order than post defense. That I think you can play Mobleys and Chets and Wembies at the 5 and you still provide elite defensive value, especially when guys like Mobley are actually really good rebounders. And you get a high level of versatility in terms of switching and variety of pick and roll coverages that Mobley can provide. And then offensively, I mean, he still provides a mismatch in terms of at the 5, just in terms of quickness and agility. And then what you'll probably find is if he did end up playing the 5 full time, teams would either end up taking their bigs off the floor because he's just so much quicker, or they'd end up guarding him with wings. And then you end up getting the same mismatches that he'd get at the 4 in terms of size advantages. That's the thing OKC ran into this year with Chet at the 5. They ended up just putting the big on Josh Giddey.
Right.
Having him as a roamer, and then they would put wings on Chet.
Right.
And then obviously that means Chet isn't going to be able to run pick and rolls because they're just going to switch. So now he's playing in the middle of the floor in a 4-on-3, or he's playing in terms of he's got to be able to post up smaller players, and he wasn't very good at it. But like that level to the game is what Evan Mobley can provide theoretically. Because if Evan Mobley's playing the 5, I'm sure teams will end up putting their big on Isaac Okoro, wings on Evan Mobley, and now he gets to play in the middle of the floor. I think it would be the same principle. So I think just the way the game is played, I think Evan Mobley at the 5 long term just makes a lot more sense.
It does make sense, Mars, when you explain it like that. The thing that I'm concerned with Mobley is I think that at the 5, I think that takes him away from one of his biggest strengths, which is being around the basket as a defender. That's the thing that worries me, because as a 5, especially the stretch 5 today, now you're taking him away from the basket and you're making him play more on the perimeter, because that's what the league has done with Joel Embiid and Joker. I think you're moving him further away from the basket. When you play him at the 4, I feel like you keep his strengths enhanced, the dirty work stuff. He's fantastic at that stuff, rebounding. When you have him at the 5, now I feel like you're dragging him away from the basket, and he's not nearly as effective as a defender.
Okay, interesting. I mean, I think we gotta wait to see. For anyone wondering, Evan Mobley this past year was on average about 10 feet away from the rim on defense. Right. So within 10 feet, that's in and around the paint. So he was close to the rim. Maybe it will be different. Maybe it'll be different with him at the 5. I don't know, but he definitely wasn't like Rudy in terms of his presence around the rim. Rudy's like within 8 feet of the rim every single time down the floor. So, I mean, I think his versatility is his calling card in my opinion. So we'll see. I mean, they just extended Jarrett Allen, so this is really a pipe dream of Evan Mobley at the 5. Yeah, it's not going to happen. But I'm interested to see what the Cavs do. Bran hates you, Chill. He said, Chill be fooling you guys. He don't know hoops for real. He just be chatting, especially since 2024 started.
How do you think Bran is, Chill? How old do you think he is?
How old? If I had to guess off the top of my head, maybe 40.
40?
Yeah, maybe,
oh, wow.
maybe 40.
I think people your age are hating on you.
Old man brand.
Maybe 40.
DSG Piccolo said he agrees with me. Even in the All-Star game, you could see Dame pulling up from half court and it was just his normal jumper. IMO, he's stronger, so it's easier for him to do that. Yeah. And I'm not saying All-Star games are the measuring stick of deep range shooting, but I just think if you just watch them, Steph and Dame shoot from those extreme ranges, I think you can see it looks more like Dame's regular shot than Steph. Like I don't think that should be a hot take. I don't think that should be something crazy. It looks like Dame is just shooting his regular shot, whereas Steph, it looks a bit more, I don't want to say forced, but it looks like it's more strenuous on him to get those shots all the way to the rim from those ranges. So that's just my opinion.
Who's the best push shooter in the league right now?
Push shooter?
What do you mean by push shooter?
Hallie? Like
Trey?
Push the ball, you push the ball up as opposed to like a
like the natural motion.
Steph's a push shooter. I mean, most of the great 3-point shooters are push shooters. There's not many like KD is like one of the only ones who's not really a push shooter, who's like an elite 3-point shooter. But Trey, Steph,
I think
Dame,
Steph is more of a jump shooter though. But even if you watch his follow through though, his follow through it's here all the way up through the top. Push typically it's like it's from the chest and out. So like that's what I'm saying. Like Hallie or
Trey
like,
is a push shooter.
Yeah, Trey, something like that.
Well, I would say if that's the case, I would say but it goes in, so we don't have to change it. So Hallie doing this thing. Hallie, another one who's a very good.
Sean Marion, the best push shooter ever. True push shooter.
I'm like,
no,
that shot isn't even a push. That shot is he flings it. That's not even a push. That's just some weird. Yeah, but shout out to Sean Marion. He made one out of every 3, so I guess it worked for him. Cultured Bandit said if KD was drafted to the Blazers instead of Greg Oden, and obviously they still get Dame later on, would Dame have rings or multiple rings right now?
No. So sorry to say he wasn't better than Westbrook. Sorry to say he wasn't better than Westbrook.
But it's just in terms of a fit, just the spacing aspect, you don't think it helps them?
No. It would have been great. It would have been fun, but no.
Yeah, it would have been really fun. But
Dame gets love for all these 55, 10 assist games, which I watched live versus Facu Campazzo and them. But then he doesn't get the stuff for falling apart and not showing up for series.
And we also forget. Don't get me wrong. Hindsight is 20/20. So to look back now and see what KD has become, it's easy to say that he should have went before Greg Oden, not realizing that in 2007, Greg Oden was Patrick Ewing 2.0 in my eyes. He was the best big man in the country. I thought that this is the 5-man you're going to build your unit around. I wasn't thinking about Kevin Durant like that. I did not know he was made of glass, though. I didn't know that.
Well, to be fair, Chill. I mean, to be fair, Greg Oden was a dog. Kevin Durant up to 25 and 10 at Texas.
Yes, he did.
I'm taking Kevin Durant over Patrick.
Kevin Durant, remember, I don't know who it was against. I think he had a 40 ball. And he was shooting like
it was against Kansas State. It was against Kansas State.
But you remember we can do a 3-2-1. We know why KD didn't go first overall because the report came out he couldn't bench 185 pounds.
Yeah, but regardless of the bench press or whatever, like in hindsight, once again, I'm with Chillin. Like in hindsight, yeah, KD's the right pick. But at that time, Greg Oden was 100%, in my opinion, the proper pick for the Portland Trailblazers.
And remember
that
too,
was the right way to go.
And remember too, Swiper, we still were in the big man era. Like Dwight Howard was still.
I remember.
Shaq was.
They the same height though. They both bigs.
No, not Kevin. Not Greg.
Pre-draft, KD wasn't 7 feet yet. He was at 6'9", 6'10", 6'11".
Yeah, whatever.
So
he wasn't
Greg Oden.
Yeah, whatever.
They stand next to each other. Chill. It might be like this.
It's not that much. But
and then you saw K. But then, Chill, you remember that man KD, bro, pulling up on folks at 6'10" in Texas as a freshman. I thought that dude was like I couldn't believe
he had a 35 and 17 game. That's when I know that sounds nuts. I know that sounds crazy. He had a 35 and 17 game. That's when I really started paying attention. I'm like, yo, who was this dude, Kevin?
No, hold on, Chill. But that was 06 going into 07 when that happened.
Yes.
What were we watching in 06? That was like Kobe, Gilbert Arenas, young Melo, young LeBron, Shaq last year of his prime. Mm-hmm. You had Steve Nash, Dirk. That's what everybody was talking. They looked at KD. They were like,
"That's the future of the NBA."
Yeah, that's
the
Dirk.
Future of the NBA.
So and then KD. I mean, again,
But Swipe, I think you undervalued, especially at that time, what the big man was, and like who was winning at that time. The Lakers had won the NBA championship 3 straight years. Then the Spurs had won it with Duncan as the big man. Then they had won it. Dwight Howard was becoming what he was becoming. So now that was still the architect of building your crew around the big man. Even though Kevin Durant, what he had shown you was that he was clearly becoming that. He clearly was going to be an awesome player in the league, but the league looked like it was still in that space of holding on.
When did that end? Did that end with after Jared Solinger and dude from Kentucky chill, Noel? Did that end right after that?
Nerlens Noel, yes.
Well, Jahlil Okafor was still going top 3 in 2015.
That's where I was about to say that, Mars. I think that's where it ended.
He was predominantly back to the basket.
With Okafor. I mean, they did draft Joel Embiid, and it probably ended with Joel Embiid, actually.
No, they drafted after. Remember, they
took Jahlil the year after.
Yeah, they did. They had 3 centers on the roster, Chill.
And he was insurance, actually. He was because they wasn't sure about Joel Embiid.
Mm-hmm. But it didn't make no sense.
They ended up drafting 2 bigs who ended up missing their first year. Like they got Nerlens, who missed his first year,
right?
And then they got Joel, who missed his first 2, and then they got Jahlil, and then Jahlil just ain't work out for a myriad of reasons. But I think it's hard for me to not speak from hindsight because obviously I wasn't a draft guy in 2007. But the reports are already out there that Greg Oden was an injury concern going into the draft. Yeah, like obviously he played. I think he played his whole freshman year with like a broken hand or something. So that was that. But that's away from it. Like it was documented that Greg Oden had one leg shorter than the other in 2007.
I remember.
So teams knew he had one leg shorter than the other. Now, I would like to think medical staff think, a 7-foot human being who has one leg shorter than the other, that might be a concern in some capacity. And hey, I got this 6'10" guy who can score from everywhere, has a handle, and we ain't seen anything like this. Maybe I'll look into it. I don't think Greg Oden should have been a clear-cut number 1 pick.
But to be fair,
knowing what was
how significant even if that's true, Miles, which it is, 100% it is. Like one leg shorter than the other by what? Like Mike, like
by any amount is concerning.
And to watch Greg Oden play, how dominant he was. I thought he was left-handed. When I watched him with that jump hook, I thought he was left-handed. That's how good it was.
Who was his PG that year?
Mike Conley.
Mike Conley. It was bro. They were dirty. That was.
That's what I'm saying. Like
they lost in the national championship.
To Florida.
Destroyed Joakim Noah. Destroyed him
in Al Warford. Like I hear what y'all saying. Like, oh, that's cool. KD was dope. Greg Oden was better.
Well, do you think KD just didn't get a chance? What is the national championship game that made the difference? So, where did Texas end that year with TJ Ford?
They lost in the first round, I think.
I think they just didn't go far enough too, Ox. Because I remember like it's almost like he fell to the wayside, and then we didn't have social media for real. We had MySpace, but we weren't watching basketball on MySpace.
Right.
Me and Ox. I don't know. We were still developing our top 8. We had our shorty at number 1. And then our best friends at number 2. That's where we were at this point in time. So
no. You got top 4, and it was all
shorties. I got you. My bad.
but not like and mind you. So when in high school we had one of the players that before me, he went to Ohio State. He wasn't good. He wasn't on the team. He was like one of the managers or whatever. But he used to always come back and tell us about what Mike Conley and Greg Oden. So I'm watching these dudes, and I'm like, Greg Oden. I thought Greg Oden was like, I don't know. I thought he looked like the next one. Like
this is the guy that I'm in Mars.
He had everything on the block.
You cover the draft, Mars. You cover the draft. I watched the draft a lot too. But at that time, he looked at me like a general manager is going, that's who I'm building my unit around for the next 10 years. That's going to be the centerpiece of my unit. Again, did I know he was made of glass? I did not know that. Was his one leg being shorter than the other that much of a concern? It didn't look like it in his game. His game didn't suffer because of it. He still had lift. He still was dominant around the rim as a shot blocker and a rim protector. He still was a great rebounder. He still was all of those things that you can build your unit around as a great big man. Did I think that Kevin Durant was going to be 28, 29 a game and play.
Well, nobody thought that.
Years? No, I didn't.
But he was still, to me, March, just to give you a rundown, because I was 16 when all this was going down. So I knew who Greg Oden was. And Mike Conley was also cold as hell at Ohio State.
Ice.
He was nice. Like, he was a dog. And then D'Lo was also really freaking good later on at Ohio State. They had a run. Jared Solinger was cool. But I didn't like Jared Chill because he couldn't jump. And you were big and you couldn't jump at the time for me. I didn't think you had any value.
I always thought he was one of those guys.
He was
that
a
didn't take care
tweener.
of his body.
Right.
And he was one of those guys I didn't think.
He didn't have like a lot of muscle definition.
Yeah,
I tell you right now, I would have told you for a fact he was going to be a dog with Thomas Robinson. I would have told you that Tom Robinson was going to be that at Kansas. Chill, you know who I'm talking about. When we were kids.
Ox, who did I compare Thomas Robinson to coming into the league?
I'm cool, Chill.
I thought he was the next Malone. That's who I thought he was. I thought he was Karl Malone 2.0.
You didn't like Thomas Robinson?
That's how good I thought he was. No,
he just doesn't like getting flashbacks of the Kings draft.
Leave me alone, Swappy. I think you're doing this on purpose right now.
I'm sorry.
And then who was their point guard? Was it Lawrence? The black dude, number 4.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I'm talking about, Chill.
Yeah, it was. The dark skin cat, yeah.
It was Lawrence?
Yeah, something like that. I know you're talking about.
Somebody in chat can remind me. Again, that's another duo I thought was going to be cool. But again,
it wasn't Josh Selby.
I think the issue is that Odom, as good as he was, I also saw KD, and I was like, bro, he's different. But the NBA then course corrected because the next year it was D Rose who took over the game, and it was Michael Beasley. And so bigs, I don't even remember who the first center was that came off that year. Somebody can remind me off that draft. But I think the NBA started to shift towards, okay, we need more athletic ball handling fours. And then they started to build that archetype in because it was KD, and then it was Michael Beasley, and then it was Darren, what's his name? Derek Williams.
It was OJ Mayo.
Derek Williams.
No, OJ was 6'5". He was a shooting guard.
Derek Williams out of Arizona, yeah.
I thought you were talking about the 08 draft. Okay, my fault.
I was talking about like those 4 archetypes that they tried to turn into like ball handling, like shifty playmaking, like LeBron, and that's where like the Ben Simmons stuff came from. Like, these players were Ben Simmons before Ben Simmons. They just didn't pan out for whatever reason. Derek Williams was the one I was shocked by.
I would have thought that I would have known that too. It's Tayshaun Taylor. He from Jersey City.
Tayshaun Taylor. That's it.
That was him.
No, Thomas Robinson was like 6'6".
They had him listed as 6'9".
You missed a special time, Mars. The 2000 for college basketball was it. I thought you couldn't. Nick Collison and Kirk Hines could do no wrong for me. No wrong, Chill. No wrong. I thought they were special.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot I've missed, and I like to think I go back and watch a lot of basketball, but there's also a lot of basketball that I'm just never going to get back to go back and watch. So, yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to see a lot of the things you talk about. Now, I can confirm I've seen Michael Beasley in college, but that's besides the point. That's just I had to do my due diligence on Michael Beasley. But it's Zamze said players hate guarding a fully erect Klay Thompson.
Yeah, shout out Pirate.
Shout out to Pirate. Salmon Rib said, what about Kyle Korver? I feel like we spoke a little bit about Kyle Korver. I hope we answered your question on Kyle Korver. What you say, gang, said, I hope no one said it already, but Chris Rock said no activities in the champagne room.
What we talking about?
Does it get wild in the champagne room, Max?
What? So reportedly, one of us saw a clip from Ox's social media handle. What I didn't know, he had a Twitter until the other day. So I've been exposed, right? So reportedly, I can't confirm or deny. Chill. He had a woman in one of these rooms. I can't confirm or deny her profession. She was.
So allegedly.
Right.
There ain't no alleged. That's what she does.
But I'm saying she was dressed to play to play the field. She was dressed to play a sport. If you understand what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm with you.
Very athletic.
She's not on the bench. She's OJ. She's Odell Beckham Jr. basically. It's like she plays. Okay. She gets game time. Okay. And then, but she says something to Ox, and I was I think I was getting on the plane, Ox. So the background was going, and I heard you started moving funny and moving fast, and I'm like, what did she say? So I try to rewind it, and it says something about something. About like a lollipop, something licking.
Don't repeat that, Swiper.
But then I tried to figure out what is this show about. And the clip was just a clip, just a random clip.
Swiper, I thought Swipers, you don't know about the champagne room?
No, I knew. I didn't know. Your YouTube channel just popped up. I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I subscribe. And it's been
Big Ups Media doing big things this summer.
Again, I've already told Ox I got all his music. I might not come to all his shows, but I got all his music, and I have been to the Champagne Room once or twice. It hasn't got that wow. Okay, remember, I ain't see the show in Vegas. I might have saw the show in, I don't know, Amarillo. I might have seen the show in DC. I ain't see the show in Seattle. I don't know how well it got there.
Check Swiper. Go click on the playlist, man. Check. We got some good stuff.
Is this a particular channel called the Champagne Room?
No, it's on my channel.
It's a playlist on
the playlist.
It's a playlist on Big Ups Media.
Yes.
If you haven't subbed to Big Ups Media, you're just not logged in. Just
no.
I'm not subscribed, but go subscribe nonetheless.
It's been a wonderful experience watching Ox, do his stuff. And if anything, chill. It's just like, you know what, like a brother like me. What's a swiper room? Like what's that? Like the big box room? Like what we doing?
What we're not doing. We're not biting my style now. That's what we're not doing.
What is it?
Write your own rhymes. Okay, don't do that.
Chill. The boom boom room.
I don't know what it is, but it's not. Is you got to.
But chill, you know what the boom boom room is, right?
I do know what the boom. In fact, I've been in the boom boom room a time or two.
But that I'm saying. But shout out life, Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence. That could be the boom boom room. I'm saying like that work. I might do that. That content's engaging. Too. I want to be a professional athlete onto my stage. I would love to have a conversation about that. Tell us about your workout. Tell us about your game. How do you get in your game process?
Those are the questions I ask. I always drop the link, Swiper. So next time, actually we're going again this Sunday. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna drop the link, man. Pull up and ask me anything you want.
You can. I can do that.
Yeah,
always
anything you want.
You can double team as host in the Champagne Room.
Well, I just drop the link and let somebody come up for about 3-4 minutes, ask a couple questions, and then they go on about.
So a 2v1 with an athlete. I got
you. Chill out.
Okay, back to basketball.
Mars, you're the one who opened the door to these shenanigans, by the way.
Hey, I mean, man, people are here for these type of conversations, man. Welcome to the panel. Mm-hmm. Antoine said Bilal is Giannis with a jump shot. Respect him.
Wow.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Well, clearly you're a Wizards fan.
What's the opposite of yes, Mars?
No. I do think Bilal is very good, but no, I do.
Yeah, so do I, but I don't think he's Giannis.
He's not Giannis. He's not Giannis, but he does have very high upside in my opinion. MP13. He clearly does not like Dame, but he said, chill. Explain, quote unquote, the stage. Because we've never seen Dame perform past the first round compared to Harden playing the Warriors 4 out of 5 years in the playoffs.
Right. So I have seen Damian Lillard with a lesser crew go up against that Golden State Warrior team. He got busy in the playoffs in 16. He got busy in the playoffs in 16. They just weren't good enough. There was nothing that he could do against them. We talk about Damian Lillard in 19 in that series against Denver. He was terrible in that series. Okay, first and foremost, no, he wasn't. He was a lot better than you guys give him credit for. And we leave out
who?
Against Denver.
Your team, no, he wasn't.
He was not
your team, Swiper.
He was.
Chill. You don't have to lie. He was not the. He wasn't even. CJ McCollum was way better than him, and he. You know who
in the entire series.
The entire series, and you also know who closed out those games. You know who closed out those games over Damian Lillard? Rodney Hood.
I don't know about that.
No. Rodney Hood literally got more isolation attempts in the fourth quarter than Damian Lillard did because he posted up Jamal Murray.
Hood?
I remember the whole series, chill.
I do too. And I remember that we don't have a game 7.
Chill. You couldn't even tell me what the year was 2019. 2019. You were too busy in 2019 to remember that dumb series. That series that never should have happened.
No, I wasn't. Because I was in front of the TV. I was in front of the TV when I watched Damian Lillard put 40 on you guys to force a game 7.
What are you talking about? What do you mean he had 40? He had 40.
In game 6.
One game? Right. But you're telling me Rodney Hood wasn't more important down the stretch of those games?
No, he wasn't.
So in the 3 overtime game, it wasn't Rodney Hood that made the shots.
For the whole series. That's what you just said. And no, absolutely not.
CJ was better in the whole series.
No, he was not better
in the whole series.
He was better in game 7.
No, you're mixing 2021. You're mixing 2021.
I know about 2019.
Yes, you are.
I know about 2019. I absolutely do. But Damian Lillard in that series. He wasn't as bad as you say he is. I ain't saying he was what he was.
23 on negative efficiency.
He wasn't as good as he was against. He wasn't as good as he was
Gary Harris
against Oklahoma City in the first round. He was not as good as he was there, but he wasn't terrible. No, he wasn't.
Harris had him locked up.
Not in game 6, he didn't. Not in game 3. He didn't.
I'm glad you had one good
not in game 3.
23 points. So, what was it? 23 on negative efficiency, Mark?
I think not either game 3 or game 3, game 4, and game 3, game 4, and game 6. I think are the games he got busy. So the idea that Damian Lillard,
you know what song was popular? You know what song was popular in 2000? Locked up, can't let me out. Gary Harris, get off me, brother. That's what it was.
Did not have Damian Lillard.
That's what it was.
That's not true.
Prison.
So
prison.
He didn't do the job on him that Drew Holiday did on him in 18.
What did he do in game 7? Name that. What did he do in game 7? Since you want to cap for Dame. Since you want to twerk for Dame. What did he do in game 7?
In game 7,
I think he went 3 for
17 or
I think he went 3 for 18 in that game. And
I know
that
mattered to CJ McCollum had to get him out.
If he doesn't do what he does in game 6, there is no game 7.
How about this? Since you want to talk about Dame, since you want to ox champagne room
in that game 6, Rodney Hood. In that game 6, Rodney Hood also had 25.
What did he do in game 6 in 2021?
Game 6 in 2021
versus the Nuggets versus Facu Campazzo, Monte Morris,
and Jokic.
No, Jokic was a guard.
Jokic pick and roll.
Isn't that the series he went for 55 one of them games?
In one, you know what, and lost L. In the fourth quarter.
42, 37, 34.
He was great. No, he was good. And then what happened? What happened in game 6?
55. Okay, so
in game 6,
I'm talking about with you. You're gonna tell me about one game, and then when I bring up one game, you don't want to talk about that.
That's good. You can bring up that series. That's a good series. But bringing up that other series where he was boo-boo. No, I'm good.
That game 6 against the Nuggets in 2019, Dame had 32, 5 assists, 5 turnovers.
5 turnovers.
Yes. On 65% true shooting. Swipers man Rodney Hood had 25 points on 78% true shooting.
Yeah, exactly. Chill. That's the problem. Rodney Hood had it only. Is that his only good series in his career?
In that series, I looked it up. He averaged 15 points a game on plus 16 relative true shooting.
Exactly. You see what I'm talking about, Mars?
So the pre-Achilles, I like Rodney Hood.
Yeah, didn't go to the Western Conference Finals because of that. Well, respect Rodney Hood. Having a PJ Washington outlier shooting run. That's why.
No, you lost, man. It is what it is. Move on. You lost. You're cooked. But
no, that was 2021. Somebody bringing up the prayer. That was 21. Dame had 10 threes in that game. It was one of the best playoff games I've ever seen in my life. Ever.
I think it has like the highest game score of any player
ever. Yeah, it was incredible.
No, I don't care about game score, but anyone who does.
And then he was making turnaround 3-point shots for clutch for to tie the game up.
And then CJ McCollum stepping out of bounds here. One
frying
who?
Frying Jamal Murray ass in 19.
Wait. What year are you talking about?
I'm talking about
21. Jamal Murray didn't play.
I'm talking about 2019. I'm talking about 2019.
What do you mean frying Jamal? Jamal was a pup. He was a pup. Chill. What were you doing at 20 years old?
If I'm not mistaken, I want to make sure that I'm clear.
2019 in the Declaration of Independence.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that he was in year 3.
You were in Utah getting switched.
That's when he was coming. I think that's when he was becoming a player because
at 21 years old.
Right, I think that's when he was becoming.
Mars, you hear that talking about Jamal Murray getting busted?
So
Chill was at the same time in Utah.
CJ McCollum was not that far behind. Was not that far behind Jamal Murray. They're around the same age, so it's not like CJ McCollum had been in the league for 6 or 7 more years than Jamal Murray.
How old? No, CJ McCollum's older than him. What are you talking about?
Right, he's not that much.
CJ came in when 13.
I want to say 13, and Jamal showed up in what 15.
16. What are you talking about? Get your draft right.
16, and he showed up in 16.
Jamal's 27. CJ's like 32.
So he's right behind him.
That's not right. 5 years in the NBA is a big
because CJ also did how many years at Lehigh?
He played 4 years at Lehigh. Yeah, he played 4.
So he came in 3 years earlier, and he's 4 years older.
Chill. This is how I know. You know when Chill lost an argument, you start lying.
What am I lying about? I was talking about in the NBA. I'm not talking about their age. I'm talking about in the NBA. When he showed up, they showed up at around the same time. So 3 years apart. So sure.
Age difference. Pretty big age difference.
Yeah. 3 years.
What's that
they're about 6 years apart in age.
So yeah, that's a long time. Chill. Now defend yourself. You were getting switch hunted at 20 years old. Why? Because you couldn't move your feet.
That's not true. I was supremely athletic at 20 years old. That's not true, sir.
Well, all right. Pull the clips up. Pull the tape up.
Pull the tape up. You don't want me to do that.
Somebody get the reel.
He's going to get the clip. Oh my god!
Get it, chill. Get the tape, chill.
Now we're gonna have this black and white footage of children. Oh my god! We're gonna have segregation heaps. I mean, I guess. While Chill tries to develop the images he has.
I thought he was about to come back.
With
the laptop just to show.
No, I'm not doing that. Oh, no, I'm not doing that.
Joe, have you ever showed your
however, I do have this. That's me at 16 years old.
Told you, black and white. I told you.
Joe, that's an 8-foot rim from 76.
That's me at 16 years old. I just want to put that out.
How tall were you at 16?
The same height I am now.
Yeah,
I've been this height since the 10th grade.
Did you do track?
I didn't, unfortunately. When I was in junior college, we didn't have a track team. And to be honest with you, Swiper, I kind of cheesed up because I did want to run the 100, but I didn't know how. And I was afraid to go out for the track team when I was in college.
I mean, you probably could have been a good track athlete in that time.
We had a good track team at Utah State. We had a really good track team, but I was actually scared to actually try out for it. I didn't have enough nerve to do it. I had enough nerve for a lot of stuff, but I did not have enough nerve to do that. I would have liked to have done it though.
Welcome back, Ox. You missed a heated debate about Chill's basketball career and how fraudulent it is because he was getting switch hunted in the 90s, apparently.
At 20 years old, by the way.
Yeah. But welcome back. MBRK the Great said, El Shaq, free Palestine. I don't know what Shaq did, but free Palestine indeed, yes. Antoine said 96 to 98 Mitch Richmond versus 05 to 07 Sean Marion.
Sean Marion. I love Mitch Richmond too for Sean Marion.
Damn,
for winning a title, Sean Marion. Mitch Richmond was cool though.
I'll take Mitch.
You got Mitch?
Yeah, I'll take Mitch. I think Sean Marion was a product of that system, and I remember Sean Marion.
Dallas or Phoenix?
The 8 seconds or less. He was a product of that, and having Steve Nash that really helped him. You forget Sean Marion played in Toronto and he played in Miami. Completely forgot about him. He was also on that Cavs team in 2009, 2010. He was on that crew too.
He was good. But he was good on that team though. He wasn't all-star Sean Marion, but he was still good.
I mean, Mitch Richmond from 96. I mean, Mitch Richmond was an all-pro bucket. I think he was like 26 a game, something like that.
He was really good.
He was regarded as one of the best two guards in the game, if not more. He wasn't better than Jordan, no question about that. No, he was not better than Jordan, but he was definitely in that conversation as one of the better two guards in the game. So
the Kings
Mitch Richmond outright better than Glenn Rice at that time?
I think that's another guy that we could have a conversation. In 96, 97, I mean, I think that's where the conversation starts. I think Glenn Rice was a better bucket getter because he was a better shooter than Mitch. He was bigger than Mitch too, but with him and Mitch, I think that I give Glenn Rice the edge slightly because Glenn Rice was a little bit bigger and a better shooter.
I wish we could go back to the 90s sometimes.
Oh, so you got, because I know Mitch Richmond played for the Kings, so I don't know if there's a bit of bias there, but Mitch Richmond or Sean Marion?
No, it's not even a bias thing. It's just like I think Mitch is better, just better.
Okay. John D, do you have an opinion on this?
I'm not up on Mitch Richmond. Not gonna lie. So
think John, just so you know, think Anthony Edwards. That's a better athlete.
No. Think. Yes. No. He's doing that. Yes. He's doing too much. Think Jason Richardson, but with a better jumper.
No,
Jason Richardson, but a better jumper.
Think Anthony. What Anthony Edwards is today. That's Mitch Richmond. He just ain't that. Mitch Richmond just isn't the athlete.
Think Killian Hayes, but right-handed.
He just isn't the athlete. He just isn't the athlete that Anthony Edwards was. That's all.
I mean, with that being said, too, though, Chill. Obviously, Ant's a much better athlete than Mitch, but Mitch got a little more than Ant.
When it comes to getting buckets,
yeah. When it comes to this game, like I would say Mitch got a little bit. You know, especially like at the 3-point line shooting. I think Mitch. I think if it wasn't for that, being a superior athlete, I think Mitch would be better than Ant.
So this is why this is important. to talk about stuff like this. Mitch Richmond had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight years of 20+ points per game.
20
starting as a rookie.
Straight years.
Rookie of the year.
Was starting as a rookie. Mitch was cold. Now, Mitch was not. I don't care what nobody says. He wasn't holding a candlestick to Ray Allen at Milwaukee.
Oh, well.
Ray Allen
I've never even heard that be a comparison.
Well, no, I'm saying Mitch was really good though. But like he brought up Mitch like behind Jordan. But I'm saying Ray was ahead of Mitch. And that's the thing I wish people saw from Ray Allen. Before Ray Allen became the 3-point shooter.
Not in 1996.
Not in
1996.
What year did Ray start popping?
Ray didn't become Ray. Yeah, Ray didn't show up as in terms of elite to like 99, 2000. That's when he became real. Like 96 between 96 and 98. I mean, those were the prime Mitch years, like 92 to like 98. That was Mitch Richmond.
I'm talking about that. That's way.
See, things swiping though. Like a lot of the youngsters like in the chat, I don't even know if they even realized Ray Allen had game. Like I don't know.
Oh no, he just was spot up shooter on the Celtics. That's
yeah. I don't think they know about Ray Allen before 2008 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I go back and watch the 0-1 Bucks quite often, especially that series against the Sixers. Ray Allen was, he was.
So wait, who was it at the? It was Vince Carter. So after Mitch, it was Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Ray Allen, Kobe. Jay Rich? Was Jay Rich at this time at this point? Or do you a little bit later?
Jason Richardson
was like, I was going to okay, yeah. Well, he wasn't on those guys' level though.
No, not yet.
No, but see, Jay
never ever. I'm sorry, Mars. Not ever.
Not ever. Yeah.
Not ever.
Jay was never considered like a elite player. Jay was always like I don't even know who in the league he would be right now. He's not Donovan Mitchell. He's not Booker. I don't even know
on that level. He was like a
he's not Zach. He's not Zach LaVine. So we gotta keep going down.
With that being said, Mars, you can give me Jay Rich. You can give me Jay Rich.
Oh, you taking Jay Rich over Zach LaVine?
And I'm not saying he's better than Zach. I'm just saying he got that dog in. There's something else Jay Rich had,
Okay, interesting. But anyway, shout out to us just talking about late 90s, early 2000s shooting guards. Welcome to the panel. London Hoops, LDN Hoops said problem with JT shooting high volume is he's not consistent. 37%, but will be 24% for a month and then 45% for a month. The others stay somewhat consistent.
Isn't that? I mean, but do they though? Like to answer to
shooting is a very volatile thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Mars. Like I can have a stretch where for 2 months, especially as a long ball shooter, because I've seen plenty of times where guys will go 4 for 10, 5 for 11, 6 for 10, but then I'll have stretches where 1 for 7, 2 for 9, 2 for 8, things like that. So, shooting the long ball, especially at that volume, it could get real tricky, especially when you got different shot creators, right? You got catch and shoot guys, then you got shot creators. It looks a lot different. Now, can Jayson Tatum be a consistent long ball shooter? I would actually like to see him shoot less 3 balls.
I was just about to say that.
To be honest with you, I would actually like to see him shoot less 3 balls, and I'd like to see him play in the mid-range a little bit more, because I think his stop and pop game is damn good. And I think that if he got back to that, I think that would open up the long ball and make him even more effective.
Yeah, I think for his shot selection, I just think it would be a little bit better if he's not shooting as much, especially when he's so gifted athletically that he can be one of the best downhill players in the league, in my opinion, and especially how much the defense collapses on him. I just think him shooting that much threes is not the best for his shot selection, because we've seen him in the playoffs. Okay, I got TJ McConnell on me on an island. Let me do a sidestep 3. Or I got Maxi Kleber on the perimeter. Let me do a sidestep 3. This is where I would like to see Jayson Tatum get downhill and really put pressure on the rim. So I would definitely like to see him shoot less threes though.
The numbers don't support Jayson Tatum being good in the mid-range, but the game is more than the numbers. But I do think, as the host, I feel like I should give people some information.
Sure.
Jayson Tatum shot 38% on 2-point jumpers this year in the regular season. In the postseason, I believe it gets worse. In the postseason, he was 34% on 2-point jump shots.
Right.
And I could go back through our history. Jayson Tatum has never been an above 40% 2-point jump shooter for the most part. especially when you talk about over the course of regular seasons. In 23, he was 37% again. In 2022, he was 35%. In 2021, he was 38%. In 2020, he was at 43%. So that was the year where Jayson Tatum really took the superstar leap, if everyone remembers.
Right.
And then now we're at 2019, year 2 in the NBA, 35%. And then rookie Jayson Tatum was 43%. So in his whole career, he shot above 40% on 2-point jumpers twice. So that's one as a rookie and one as and then it just went downhill.
Yeah,
what do y'all think? What do y'all think? Like late game situation. What do you guys think the shot Jayson Tatum would really lean on? In like a late game situation, you really got to be like that guy to really will your team, or you got to make a big shot. Where do you think Jayson Tatum is elite at on that side of the floor where he can be like, I know this shot's gonna fall?
Nothing.
He could get to the rim.
He could elite at anything.
He could 100%.
No, he can't. I've seen him try. I've seen him try.
No, you have not. Nah, if you've seen
it, I have literally watched him try off, and he turned over. And
what is this about?
Hold on. No. He had the Cleveland game. The Cleveland game. You remember the Cleveland game?
Guy averaged 27.
Are we not Cleveland? Are we not remembering the Cleveland game?
Are we? What's going on?
You can be good at everything and elite at nothing.
That's what I said. I don't understand what the issue is. Chill. What's he elite at offensively?
You can be good at everything and elite at nothing.
I didn't even say nothing crazy. Chill. You just wanted to get emotional because that's your dude. You want the clap for Tatum. All I said is that he's not an elite at doing something in terms of getting to a shot. It doesn't mean he's not good, but I'm saying Tatum. We saw him do that shot over Cleveland, brick, and then we tried to do that same thing over KCP, brick. That's it. But he doesn't he's not an elite turnaround shooter. Now he's an elite post player. I'll say that for a wing. But he's not getting to that action.
So if I'm an elite post player, what shot am I looking for? Am I getting to the rim? Am I facing you up? Which is what I saw him do a lot with the open pivot. I'm seeing him face up guys and knock down that mid-post shot. I'm seeing him turn around, or I'm seeing him step back 14, 15 feet and knock down that shot. I'm seeing that go on, right? So when I think about a guy, is Jayson Tatum an elite scorer? What exactly is elite when you guys talk about elite? What do you mean when you say elite? So I want to make sure that I understand what it is. That way I can get on your page when you talk about being elite. Because when I think about a guy averaging 30 a game, I think he's an elite scorer. When I think about a guy averaging 27 a game on a playoff team, or not just on a playoff team, but on a championship contender, I think that's an elite scorer. So I need some understanding. I need some clarification on exactly what an elite scorer is.
I would say go ahead. Elite volume, elite efficiency would be elite volume, elite efficiency. One of those at least probably would be an elite scorer. Jayson Tatum, once again, getting statistical. He peaked at 30 points per game in 2023. He was plus 2.5 relative true shooting, so mediocre volume. Mediocre efficiency. This past season, he was plus 2 relative true shooting. Comparatively to the elite scorers, you got Embiid was 35 on plus 6, Luka's 34 on plus 4, Shea's 31 on plus 5, Giannis is 31 on plus 7, Jokic is 26 on plus 7, and it always transfers to the postseason. Jayson Tatum in the postseason this past year, I think anyone would agree wasn't a great scoring postseason. He was -3 efficiency this past postseason. You go back throughout his career in the postseason, his best efficiency was his rookie year on plus 2. In terms of his high volume years, his most efficient postseason was 2021 when they lost in the first round. He was plus 0.6 relative true shooting.
So if keep going. I'm sorry.
The numbers say he can be a relatively high volume guy, but he falls below the Lukas, the Embiids, the Sheas, the Stephs, the Brunsons, etc. And then efficiency wise, he's below all of them.
That's why,
this shit doesn't make much sense to me. I'm trying to.
What doesn't it make sense about?
The reason why is because guys like Giannis, you just brought up Giannis being a +7. Meanwhile, it's the same Giannis who we had a conversation about who can't score in the mid range or who can't score in the mid range.
He's really good at the rim.
But,
that's why.
But he's really good at the rim. Even though Jayson Tatum, I think he was like 74% at the rim just last season alone.
He doesn't take as many at the rim. That's how percentages work.
But that's the difference, though. The difference, Mar, is that he plays at the long ball line and he plays at the rim.
And he's not good enough to, and that's why his efficiency's lower. So he takes shots from all over the court, but he's just not very good.
He takes worse shots at worse efficiency on higher volume than Giannis does. Taking great shots on great efficiency. That's a big difference.
So why?
That's it. Yeah.
I must be. You know what? I'm going to concede this because I clearly
no. Don't concede until you understand. Don't concede.
I don't because
but I'm saying, do you? So comparatively, you're a Jordan guy and LeBron guy. When LeBron scores in the playoffs, he is great getting to the rim. He's a decent mid-range shooter and a decent three-point shooter. So, but what does LeBron maximize better than almost anybody else? He closes space with you consistently, and then when he needs to hit jumpers at past 25 years old, he's been able to hit his jumpers at a high enough clip where he's burning you at least near half the time. I'm not saying half the time, near half the time. But then on top of that, he gets to the rim better than anybody. So the thing that LeBron is able to do, and LeBron also is a better shooter in the postseason than Tatum is. So if LeBron's better at getting to the rim, so he's obviously like LeBron is maybe the pinnacle playoff scorer all the way around. So, but you watch him for as many years you did, and you just looked at him and said, when LeBron got on, he made his jumpers, he was hitting his mid-range shots, and he was getting to the rim at will. Tatum doesn't get to the rim at a high level, doesn't shoot mid-range at a high level, except spotty at times. He doesn't hit threes at a high level. But when he does, you get the 51-point game versus the 76ers, when he looks indomitable. But the problem is that's happened. It's very infrequent that Tatum is able to carry over his high volume shooting on three-pointers and mid-range shots. And then he doesn't have, I think, versus elite wings, the ability to consistently get to the rim all the time. But I think that's more a variant because of his size. Like he just is 6'10" with a massive wingspan. That's just difficult to do.
This is incredible. Okay.
What it was incredible.
Right.
I mean, everyone has a different measure of elite scoring. Like let me just hold
on, Joe. I feel like this is important. This is like a transcendent moment, I think, for you and I. Do you think that he's a better scorer than Embiid? I'm gonna leave SGA out. He hasn't played long enough. Embiid.
I think Embiid is better at what he does. I do think that.
Well, he's a better long ball. He's a better shooter than Tatum, though.
He's better in the mid-range. He's definitely better in the mid-range than Jayson Tatum.
Did he shoot 38% from three? Or he shot 36%.
Yeah, but he only takes like three.
That's what I was thinking. He takes two or thrry long balls, and I think he's better at what he does in terms of being around the rim. But because he's a big guy. Of course.
But if you're shooting like 10 mid-range shots a game and you're hitting 49% of them.
Right.
And then you're also shooting
I'll concede that.
I need your 90% free throw shooters.
Yeah, I'll definitely concede that he shoots better he definitely shoots better in the mid-range, and he shoots better at the rim 100%. And at the free throw line, I mean, what is Embiid like 87, 88 at the stripe, something like that?
This past season he was 88%.
Yes.
Yeah, so 88 at the stripe. Okay. I can definitely get with that.
But Anthony Davis, you don't love Anthony Davis's offensive game consistently, his scoring even. He's a better playoff scorer than Tatum is.
Yeah, see him on the box. That's where my issue is with him on the box. Now, but we talking specifically about scoring, right?
Just scoring overall.
We're talking
the ball in the basket.
Yeah, we're talking specifically about buckets. Anthony Davis is great around the basket. Should Jayson Tatum be better around the basket? I would like to see him dunk the ball more because I think that he's athletic enough that he can finish in traffic, not just in traffic, but solo also. I think that he can create that kind of intimidation on other people. He doesn't finish as much as I'd like him to around the rim.
Who's better mid-range shooter in the playoffs? Who would you think? Who would you guess?
Between Jayson Tatum and Joel Embiid?
AD.
Him and KD? Well, KD is a better
AD.
Anthony Davis? Probably Anthony Davis. And I think it's on volume more than anything because I think Anthony Davis shoots more in the mid-range than Jayson Tatum does. According to the numbers, I think he does shoot more in the mid-range. And he's got better shot quality too because James sets him up better in the mid-range than anybody else. But the difference with Jayson Tatum as a player, he sees different coverages. He's not seeing the same coverage that Anthony Davis is seeing.
What AD did in 2017-18. You noted that to me before.
Right, I did. But the difference is that he played a lot on the block.
But that's part of scoring,
2017-18. One more time.
That's a function of scoring, though.
Like, it is. No, I thought we were talking about shooting. I'm sorry, but when he plays on the block, he's seeing different coverages. Now it's a difference between, and I'm not a fan of Anthony Davis on the block because I don't think he passes well out of the double team. I don't think he reads defenses nearly as well, not just out of the double team, but just off the block. Then seeing the guy getting double teamed on the wing, the floor is a lot more spaced. I still have a dribble. And I get to see a lot more as opposed to a guy on the block where I got to make a quick decision when the double team comes because I'm closer to the basket and there's less space for me. So when I think about a guy in Jayson Tatum, to answer your question, in the mid-range, James is setting him up more. Plus, he has different shooters around him that command that other attention. I mean, does Drew Holiday command the attention as a shooter that D'Angelo Russell does, or that this kid, the kid,
Well, but Drew Holiday did play with Anthony Davis, though.
Yes, he did. And he still wasn't a great shooter.
Well, AD also was really good offensively in the playoffs when they played together.
Well, Anthony Davis was, again, primarily on the box.
So, but chill. I think the issue is Tatum is 6'10", so it's not like there's a huge size advantage. The question then becomes, why isn't Tatum optimizing his size more? Like, what is
that
it?
Part I won't argue. I won't argue that part. He definitely should be a better finisher.
He plays
better in the mid range, and I've seen him be really good in the mid range. I've seen him do that.
But he leans more towards Michael Porter Jr. as like a shot. I'm not saying like in 1v1, but I'm saying like MPJ's a 6'10" shooter. Like that's what he does. Tatum is a way better athlete than MPJ is. He should be doing way different things than a player like that. And
can I say the same thing, Swiper, about like Joel Embiid? But he's just more effective at it because he's pushed further away from the basket because that's what the game is today. So he's shooting the long ball. He's shooting more in the mid-range. You see him in transition instead of running right to the rim with his hand up. He's stopping at the long ball line, asking for the basketball because that's what the game is today.
But he's still a better playoff scorer than Tatum is, though, regardless of that. And I think that's like the confounding thing. Like I don't think Embiid had like great runs either. But Embiid's also dropped from the regular season. But I think when you're talking about like your ability to score, can you put enough pressure on the defense to where they're folding and collapsing around you, and your ability to still be able to hit shots at an efficient clip versus that defense in a playoff setting is really valuable. But that's why I think Celtics fans and you a little bit are having issues with like Tatum isn't getting like due for like what he does offensively. Like look at the numbers, but I'm saying like Tatum also isn't like outperforming his peers as offensive threats, as scorers, simply because he doesn't have the ability to transfer his volume and efficiency in the same degree as the other elite scorers in the league. That's the problem. Because that's when you get your.
But I think we're going off this one playoff run this season, which is ironic. They won the NBA championship with him leading them in scoring, but when you talk about them in the past, when you talk about him in the past, I mean, I think it's different because I've seen him go off. I've seen him have great playoff series. I've seen him get busy against other players, and outperform his peers, right? So when we're talking about when they don't get swept against the Brooklyn Nets, where he's got to go for 50, and I think he was averaging something like 28 a game in that series. But with that being said, sure, he might not perform up until the level that you think he is, but I feel like when a guy is averaging that many points per game and we're still having a discussion about he could be better, I mean, that speaks volumes about how good he already is.
The conversation, though. Like,
that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a guy scoring the basketball.
We're talking, when you're talking about stuff at this level of basketball, you're talking about things that are this big.
Sure, we're talking about, right, it's splitting hairs, 100%.
So the margin between Tatum and the top of the league is this. But the thing that he has to do to get into that upper echelon are these little individual things. But that's what greatness is. So greatness isn't like this overwhelming, dominant physical skill set that you just rely on consistently again and again and again with no skill. Like Shaq, Giannis, they're very indomitable athletes, but they have a skill level they developed. I think when you're talking about like Tatum meeting the criteria of these other players, they're just skills he needs to develop to get into those conversations as a scorer. But
I think he does have those skills. I think the difference is that what we've seen this year kind of blinded some people. Now this season coming up, last season kind of blinded some people off the strength that, you know, they won the NBA championship and he should have been better. And I won't argue that he should have shot the basketball better. And I don't think that has anything to do with his skill set. I think that's a lot to do with upstairs, because he's shown that he can get busy in the playoffs consistently. He's shown that. So now when we come to this season, if he's better in the mid-range, if he's better, which I think he will be in the mid-range at the rim, because I think these are things that are going to enhance the Boston Celtics. I think the narrative on him is going to change. Either it doesn't, because you just hate him and you hate the Boston Celtics, or it does because you have to recognize that he has enhanced his game.
I definitely want to see it, because I'm tired of seeing Jayson Tatum get dragged through social media. It's starting to get aggravating.
It's corny. It is.
It is. It's like, it's everything. I ain't gonna lie. If I would have won an NBA Finals, I'd be spamming emos too. I would have did everything I could. Been like, yeah, we did it. This is for Cleveland. You know, everything I could have possibly said, because it's a check mark you had when you were a kid. When you watching Kobe Bryant jump on the podium and wave his hands at the crowd, that's something you want to do as a kid. I don't blame him, man. I don't.
I enjoyed that conversation, but I feel like as the host, it's my job to once again
keep it moving,
bring the numbers to the table, and then get to the super chat. Absolutely. So if everyone remembers correctly, last week or so, when I brought the Giannis shot chart to the table and we just saw it was red all over, but he was really good at the rim. This is Jayson Tatum's shot chart for this past season in the regular season. He is 71% in the restricted area, 37% in the paint outside the restricted area, which is 7% below the league average. He is 39% on all shots outside the restricted area, outside the paint, but within the three-point line, which is about 2% below league average, 2.8%. He shot below league average on all corner threes, but he didn't shoot many. He only shot 43 on the season. And then on above the break threes, he shot 38% or around 38%, which is about 2% above the league average. So this, and this is not me saying Jayson Tatum is not an elite scorer, but I think the difference between he and Giannis is, even though both are very elite in this zone here, the restricted area, Giannis took about twice as many shots from that area.
Sure.
So in terms of overall efficiency, when you take 240 shots from an area you shoot 39% from, and when you shoot another 180 shots in an area you shoot 37% from, and they're all worth 2 points, that is what drags down your efficiency, where you have two zones where you're about a combined 38% on 2-point shots. For anyone who doesn't know, that's about 0.76 points per possession. Right. That's not very good. And he's not making up for it with elite 3-point shooting, where he's only slightly above the league average. So that just explains why he's not as efficient as most other of the elite.
And right there where you at, Mars, with that 44%, that's where I think he can get better. That's where I think he should be better. That's why I would like him to play more. And I think that if he played more in that area at 6'9", 6'10", on dribble pull-ups, right? On not just dribble pull-ups, the offense that they run. When I watched him play Dallas in the finals, where he consistently had guys like Kyrie Irving on his hip. Not just Kyrie Irving. He had smaller guys on his hip, where he could be more effective in that area. I think that he lives behind the long ball line, which does drag down his efficiency. He could be much better in that area, but still also play at the long ball line and just cut down the long ball just a little bit. I don't mean that, you got to cut your production at the long ball line in half, right? If you could cut I'm not saying that you got to cut your long ball but cut your long ball attempts in half, but you can definitely play more in the mid post and in the mid range. Because if I'm not mistaken, in the post alone, he doubled that this season playing in the post than what he did the year before. He played double more in the post. Now playing in the, like I said, playing in the mid post, like right around the free throw area, right below the free throw area, I think that's where he could be the most effective, and that would drag those. I think that would shoot those numbers right up.
Yeah, he did. His post up volume did go up this year, so yes, you are right with that. But anyway, away from Jayson Tatum, who may or may not be an elite scorer, but I think it was a good conversation. Masenk OG said trade Jarrett Allen for Kuminga.
No.
I would not do that. I would not do that.
No.
Who's just because who's saying no to that?
The Warriors are saying no to that. In my opinion,
the Cavs are pissed that you waste their time even calling them for that.
Why are you entertaining that, Swiper?
Oh, I'm not entertaining it if I'm the Cavs. No, that doesn't make any. No, I'm not doing
that. I'm the Warriors. I would do it.
I wouldn't even think about it if I'm the Warriors. I'm instantly doing it. Like, bye, JK, get out of here. But if I'm the Cavaliers, I'm really upset that you even called me with that.
You hear Jonathan Kuminga's expecting a max extension
from who?
The Warriors.
To do what?
Play basketball. Yeah. Another one of the 2021 drafts. I mean, he's seen some of his draft peers get that extension. Franz Wagner, Cade, Scotty Barnes, etc. He's not getting that. He's not. He thinks he next up. So
if they're planning on doing that, then maybe they're planning on moving off of Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr just signed an extension with the Warriors.
So then you can't sign both of them to an extension.
Well, we'll see how the Kuminga situation.
Kuminga's going to get at least 40, at least.
Now he deserves something.
But Jalen Green getting 40 years.
Does he?
I don't know. Wait, 40 a year?
Does he get the same contract that OG got?
Maybe. I mean, if I'm him, that's what I'm doing. If I'm him, that's what I'm doing. He's a better scorer than OG is in his brain.
Bro.
He has more potential than OG is in his brain.
Yeah. Jonathan Kuminga's representation is definitely trying to get him the most possible.
Swiper, how long you been up this morning? Over there, so what? It's like 1:30 over there, right?
No, I'm in Atlanta now, bro. You see where I'm at.
Yeah, so it's like one. It's like 1 over there, right? 1:30. 1:30. You've been up. You've been up all for a while. You tired? It's okay to take a nap, bro. It's okay to take a 30-minute nap. What's
wrong with if I'm Jonathan Kuminga? Why can't I believe that?
I just don't think he's done.
Sniper, you talking about 40 a year
for Jonathan Kuminga, for a player that's gonna? I think Jonathan Kuminga next year can average about 17, 7.
You know he only 21 years old, by the way.
He's going have a little kid.
I'm just not with paying guys that much money off of what they might be.
That's what the league is today, though, Ox. It's a potential
league. The league is dumb. I'm not giving you $40 million a year.
Contract extension that he got.
Who?
MPJ. That's why he got the contract extension that he got.
He was still better than Kuminga leading to that contract.
Yeah, MPJ. That's not even the same thing, Chia.
No.
At least MPJ had an elite, something that he did elite.
Okay, like as the shooter. However, they thought that he would be better later on. That's why they paid him.
Word on the street, MPJ is better. It's just can't do it because
I'm not. What I'm not doing is I'm not arguing that MPJ is better. What I am saying is that the league, the majority of these guys who get paid, they get paid on potential. They don't get paid primarily on what they're doing right now. Because if they got paid on what they're doing right now, a lot of these guys would not get paid like that. No.
Well, I do understand that money's going up. So 40 ain't what it used to be. I understand that. So maybe so.
Right that you just when we get our 40, then if it ain't what it used to be, where's mine?
Never.
Where's my 10?
Never.
Now you playing. I'm gonna get 10 from somebody one day. You tripping?
Swiper, you know what I'm saying? Look, this is the thing, Swiper. Maybe you should have tapped. You should have tapped to the graveyard shift about 6 weeks ago. We went into depth about this and the reason why we're never gonna get that. But
wait, what did I miss? It's like a political, like a conspiracy theory thing, or like are you just saying like
it's not a conspiracy theory. We talk about these things in the graveyard shift. So I don't have a basketball channel.
Yeah, he just got an elite channel that you should subscribe to. Big Ox Media.
We talk about reparations. We talk about all types of things. We talk about
interracial. Oh wait, we ain't getting 10 mil. I'm getting 10 mil. You better believe I'm getting 10 mil. I'm gonna get it. You better believe that. Damn that. Y'all ain't gonna keep it for me for this long. Nope. Not. I'm too loud. I'm too loud. I'm a talk. I'm a talker. So whatever. Listen to me. Let me make your song. Let me make your song for Champagne Room.
I'm actually looking for somebody to do that.
Champagne Room.
I don't know, Swap. I'm cool, bro.
Get out of here.
Crazy, bro. What else we got, Morris? What else we got?
Swiper having his fun with his little song. But Antoine, this is for you, Swiper. He said
write it and then somebody else sing it. Maybe that might be better.
He said Garland is better than that Canadian bum, alluding to Jamal Murray.
SGA, he folded in the playoff versus the Pelicans. So you are absolutely right. Oh, you're talking about Jamal Murray, NBA champion Jamal Murray? My bad. I didn't know who you're talking about because one of them got a ring, and if a damn show ain't SGA, so I'm gonna tell you.
Darrow Leenan became a member. Shout out to you for becoming a member, or Darrow Leenan. Divine asked if we can redraft the past 5 drafts, just the top 5s. 5 drafts is when 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. I guess we don't do the 24 drafts because that just happened. So 19 to 23. You guys
so
comfortable doing that?
So Wemby, Zion, Ja. Who's in that? Cade, Scotty.
Oh, you're doing it combined.
Well, I thought that's what it was, right?
He just said, can you redraft the past 5 drafts? I thought you meant year by year. I thought that's
shit.
Nah, I've seen a lot of people doing that on Bleacher Report and on
But
YouTube,
to save time, Divine, I apologize. But do we want to just do a combined one of the last 5 drafts? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
So the best player from each of those drafts, or maybe there might be a draft like
there
this last year. This last year,
there might be a draft that has 2. Yeah, so
Wemby
I'm taking Wemby 1.
I'll take Wemby 1. I'm taking Banchero 2.
Paulo.
Yeah, I'm taking Banchero 2.
I don't know him over Ant. Are we doing 19?
Yeah, 19 is included.
I like Banchero. I think he's going to be a top 5 player in the league.
I thought 19. I only went back 5.
We're not doing the 24 draft because that just happened.
I got you, Moss.
19 to 23.
Otherwise, Reed Shepherd be top 3 for me.
So we're doing that. Sure.
I'm taking Wemby 1, probably Ant 2. Chet 3.
So Ja and Zion are on the list too. I mean,
I don't know what to do with Zion.
I'm taking Ja.
I'm taking Keegan Murray 4.
All right.
I'm taking
5.
4. Who would I take?
Ja Morant gonna remind y'all.
Yes, he is.
Hey, I'm on the train.
Ja Morant, another one with the injuries, man. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to draw.
It's not the injuries, Moss. He was a goofy. The injury.
No, but he's been hurt. He gets hurt every postseason. He's an injury risk too. Like, yeah, he missed this. Let's not forget he came back this year and then missed the whole year because he got surgery.
Yeah, they turned him off.
He's an injury.
He was playing too well. They turned him off. We know what happened.
He got shoulders, so he's been an injury concern his whole time too. Like, it's not just the off the court stuff. I can look past that. He gets hurt also because he wants to jump into people all the time. So that's why I'm concerned about him. So I don't know if I would take Ja in the top 4. Same reason I have issues with Cade. Like, the injuries are a real thing. And I understand. Oh, but you took Chet number 3. Like, I'm sorry, that man just played all 82 games.
Chet played 1 year in the league, and it was injured the other year. So
I'm buying the stock in Chet. I can understand that could be hypocritical, but I also just think long term he's more sustainable than what Ja is. And if Zion's weight loss thing is real, give me Zion number 4. Give me Zion 4, and then 5 probably Paolo.
This season right here,
Maurice Maxey.
He gets hurt again. I'm out.
Damn, these last 5 drafts have a lot of people. I wanted to get Ben Thompson in there, but I ain't trying to do nothing crazy. So,
wait, you taking Cade?
Cade is the injury concerns too. He's missed like a lot of time in his first 3 years, so I wouldn't.
Sure, you taking Evan Mobley?
Oh my God, Evan Mobley.
I'm definitely taking Evan Mobley in the top 10. Yes, I am.
10 or 5?
Not in top 5, no, but definitely top 10. Yes.
Over Şengün?
Yes.
Over Franz? Mars, why do you do that? That's what I'm saying, Mars. You are not.
Why you bring up a Rocket? Why you bring up a Rocket?
Because you're not a real Rockets fan. So you're gonna look at me funny because I said Şengün over Evan Mobley, maybe?
Because you've been hating on the Rockets.
How have I been hating on the Rockets? What did I say negative?
You said Chris Paul over Fred VanVleet.
I just said Reed Shepherd would be number 3 for me.
You said Chris Paul over Fred VanVleet.
He's better. I don't want to tell you. Just because you're a casual, that had nothing to do with me. Don't put that on me. There's nothing to do with me.
Brian is actually 26, not 40. So he wants you to just stop trying short term. But he's 26.
Who is?
Halliburton too. Halliburton too. Where did Halliburton go?
2020.
Oh no, Halliburton over all these dudes. No, what are we doing?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The last 5 drafts have a lot of talent, man.
They do.
Yeah. Maybe we would actually have to do it one by one because
maybe this could be a topic in the show. You know.
Yeah. Whenever Ron comes back, he can decide to do that. Jay Got Game said, "What's up, PC? The Knicks are still trying to figure out their backup 5 man. Does Randle fitting in that spot sound good? And also dub Knicks, dub score.
Yeah, bring him off the bench.
I think Julius Randle needs to be worried about fitting into that culture, finding his way back into that culture around those guys, man.
Fine, he can do it just fine.
I don't know. I
don't know what it is. If he buys into being more of a dirty work guy,
and
concentrating more on playing around the rim, playing in transition, being a better defender, knocking down the mid range better, getting off the ball, because don't forget, Julius Randle, there was a stretch during the season earlier in the year, like the first month or so of the season, where he was leading them in assists. So he won't pass the ball. So if he buys into what they're doing, I think he's the difference in what they're trying to do.
100%. And I'm just saying, I think that should be what he should be 100% focused on coming into this season. Especially like
Chill.
One more time,
John. There's a delay. Go ahead. I got a question for Chill after this, because he keep believing that just one day he gonna get it. Go ahead, John.
I just think maybe the shot diet could get a little bit better. Like you said, being a dirty work guy, rebounding the ball more, being better on the defensive side, especially now that you lose Isaiah Hartenstein at the big spot. So there's going to be a hole that needs to be filled. Maybe you can get better with the rebounds a little bit. But I just think this is going to be a very interesting season for him, because now you see like the Knicks have probably had one of their most exciting postseason runs in some time, and you weren't on the squad for that. You weren't healthy to be a part of that run. So now I feel like you have to really show what you can bring to this squad. And I don't think the same Julius Randle that you were doing before you got hurt is the same as what you can do.
They still got Precious, right?
Well, they got
I think they still got Precious. Yeah, they got Precious, Jericho Sims. There's Mitchell Robinson.
Jericho Sims.
The Knicks are fine, bro. Bring up Jericho Sims. Bring up Jericho Sims. He you can use Jericho. The Knicks are going to be fine, man.
What is it with these Eastern Conference players, Joe? I mean, being honest, is it because you're from Jersey?
What do you mean? What is it with me?
Like you have this affinity, like, and you just believe Tatum.
I'm an Eastern Conference guy.
I believe he's going to be better. Julius Randle is going to be better. But do you realize, like, Julius Randle has a large sample size?
He's been in the league 10 years. I think.
Really?
Okay, he's been in
14.
Yeah, he's been in the league 10 years, right? So there's guys who changed their game to fit the common goal here. That's not something that's ridiculous to think, considering what the New York Knicks have. It's probably the best team that they've had on paper since 2000, since 99, when they were in the NBA Finals.
This team better than that team.
The point that I'm making is when you have a guy who could be the difference.
We just forgetting about Amari and Melo.
It was better than them.
No,
this crew right here.
On
paper, this crew is better than them. 100% they are.
J.R. Smith, Pablo Brigioni.
Are you crazy?
Do you remember? Oh my God! This is when you lose me, man. This is what I'm talking about.
God!
Jason Kidd was
Amari and Melo.
What are we doing, man?
You missed me with that, Chill. You lost me, Chill. I'm sorry. I like this team. I'm a big fan of this team. I think this team can win the East. I'm just saying, Amari.
Do you think that with Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo Anthony, do you think that team could have won the East?
If J.R. Smith could hit the side of a barn against Indiana, yeah.
J.R. Smith was the difference. Him.
Yes.
Of all the guys on that crew.
You don't remember that? You don't remember that Indiana series?
I do remember that Indiana series. Yes, but that team overall in 2013, Jason Kidd is 38. Sheed Wallace is 37 or 38.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Kenyon Martin on that team.
Chandler, Raymond Felton. That was a squad.
Well, Raymond Felton was already gone.
Wait, no. You talking about the year they lost to Miami?
In 13. Yes.
I'm talking about the year they lost to Indiana.
Bro,
was Amari even still there?
No, they sucked. First off, yeah, he did, but he was hurt. Amari averaged that run. He averaged 3.8 points a game in that playoff run. Melo averaged 28.8, but shot 43% from 2 and 29.8% from 3.
They didn't you had suck. Raymond Felton. It was a bad series. They didn't suck. Well, wait. Go ahead, Chill. I didn't want to stop that. I didn't want to stop that. I just wanted to simply point out that I think that the team was better on paper. But go ahead, though, Chill.
What I was saying was that this crew that they're on, this is probably the best team that the Knicks have had since they've been in the finals. So as one of the better players, or arguably, and I think Jalen Brunson is better now. I didn't think that before, but I do think that Jalen Brunson is the best player on that team. If I see what's going on, and the goal is us to win the NBA championship, what do I need to do? Because my role doesn't reduce tremendously. It's not like I'm getting on the crew and now I become the 7th or 8th guy. No, I'm still considering what we have. I'm still one of our two best offensive players. I'm definitely better than OG. I'm better than Mikal Bridges. If you don't think that, Swiper, you are delusional.
In the playoffs, Julius Randle is going to be the worst offensive option between all of them. How about that?
The point that I'm making is that this New York Knicks team is going to be built on what they had last year, except now they have a better option in Julius Randle. This team is built on very much what the Memphis Grizzlies were in 2013 and 2014, that grit and grind.
What is Julius Randle going to offer them offensively in the playoffs, do you think?
What is Julius Randle going to offer them? He's going to offer them a guy who can finish around the rim. He's going to offer them a guy who can be better in the mid-range. He can be better in the mid-range.
But what do you mean can be? But he's not been. So he just magically this year it's just going to be a 2011.
How many times have we seen guys take steps? How many times have we seen guys not just take steps, but be better in the playoffs? We've seen guys do that. So it's not ridiculous to think that Julius Randle could play better in the playoffs.
Did he close all the games for the Knicks? Is he certified he's going to close games for the Knicks consistently in the playoffs?
Well, he's not their closer. Let's be clear about that. That's going to be Jalen. That's Jalen Brunson. He's their closer. And anybody, I don't disagree with that. I can't speak for everybody, but I don't disagree that.
Can he play defense at a high enough level to stay on the floor?
That's the difference right there. He's got to buy into that. He's got to buy into that. He's got to buy into being a better rebounder, and his shot selection has to change. I think that he can knock down the mid-range.
So he got to have a better shot selection, be a better rebounder, be a better defender.
He's got to be a different player. Long story short, he's just got to be different than what he's shown in the last few years. So
he's got to be better than what he was. That's all. He doesn't have to be different.
But he's a ball stopper,
better shot selection would mean he plays different. And engaged on defense would be different than what he's been. So it would be different.
No,
it's just an improvement.
It would be better. Like I'm more engaged on defense, which means that I'm not a negative on defense. I'm not terrible on defense. So if I'm more bought in on what we're trying to do, I'm better on defense. I can knock down a 17-footer as a pro. I can do that. So if I'm knocking that down with more consistency and I'm taking better shots in the mid-range, that means I'm better at that. I can be better. I can finish around the rim.
But they don't need him taking mid-range. But you understand the function, though. If Jalen Brunson's on the court, I really don't need you taking mid-range shots.
Why not?
Because Jalen Brunson is probably, in their closing lineups, I probably would have Julius Randle with the 5. I don't need you clogging the paint up because you can't hit him. Jalen Brunson's a way better mid-range shooter than him. I would much rather have Dante DiVincenzo or any one of them shooting the ball from an open three-point spot than Julius Randle dead balling at the top of the key and shooting a mid-range shot.
But if Julius Randle is actually playing in the mid-range better than what he already is,
than what he ever has,
then if he's playing in the mid-range, how much more does that open up the offense for the Knicks? How much better?
Well, if you have a player standing at the top of the key and there's it's 4 players on the perimeter just watching him play, I mean, I don't know. Like that's just not.
Well, no, we're not doing that. And that's what I'm talking about. That part right there, Swiper. We're not doing the ball stopper thing where we're going to him and then he's stopping the offense consistently. No, we got to get the ball moving. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about being.
But where is he getting mid-range shots open in a free-flowing offense? Where are mid-range shots coming from?
I think they're coming in transition, to be quite honest with you, because I think
you're taking a mid-range shot in transition.
How many stop and pop? I mean, we not everybody in transition has to get to the rim. And
for Julius Randle, though, you're for taking a mid-range shot in transition.
I don't hate that because I've seen guys stop.
But he's not a good mid-range shooter. So why would you have a bad mid-range shooter stopping a transition at a basket at the rim or a three-point shot to take a mid-range shot from a bad mid-range shooter?
But that would be him this season being better at that. That's the point.
But why would I even put you in that position? though? I don't need that. I have better three-point shooters than you are mid-range shooters.
Why you keep saying three-point shooters?
I have better three-point shooters on my offense than Julius Randle is at a mid-range shooter in transition. I would much rather find DiVincenzo, OG, Mikal, Brunson, Josh, or McBride on 3 than give it to Julius, and he's taking a mid-range transition shot that he might make 39% of the time.
But you'd rather go with a guy who's shooting the long ball in transition who might make 25% of those.
Which one of that? Which one of them shot 25? DiVincenzo shot 40% from 3 last year.
In transition?
Can you look up transition? That's a
better shot.
Like, you can look it up, I guess.
Oh, my God. I'll look it up.
That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, wait, so DiVincenzo didn't shoot. I don't think he shot 25% from 3 in transition. I don't know where you got that number from. But, hey, chill, I can tell you this. A 25% three-point shot as opposed to a 29% mid-range shot in transition, three-point shot still a better shot, just to be clear.
I think
so. That
Dante DiVincenzo shot 46% from 3 on shots early in the shot clock.
Early in the shot clock,
which would be like with more than 18 seconds on the clock. So that would be the.
Would that be in transition?
For the most part, yes, but I can't sort for just transition. So unfortunately, that's the best you're gonna get. With more than 18 seconds on the clock, DiVincenzo shot 46% from 3. So yeah, that's.
But what is it about Randle that you feel like you have to so staunchly defend?
Oh, that was in the playoffs. My fault. That was in the playoffs. Oh, never mind. In the regular season, 45%. Okay, never mind.
I think he's a damn good player. I think he's a damn good player. I think that he does the stuff necessary. I think he does the stuff necessary for you to win, and I think that he can do the other stuff that's necessary to win if he's bought in.
Even though you haven't seen it, you're saying he has the potential to.
But I have seen it. I've seen him. I have seen him get his team to the playoffs. It hasn't translated to the playoffs as much as it can. That's why I feel like with this group that he's on now, him being bought in more to what they're doing, he can now I feel like he can transform his game and conform to what they're doing and take less bad shots because, one, we're going to be better defensively. That means we're going to get out and run more. And I think he's going to be better. I feel like he's going to be better in transition more than what he was last year because he's on a better defensive team. They're going to be faster. In addition to them being faster, he can get better shots, whether it's a stop and pop 17 feet away from the basket in transition because I got guys running and rebounding, whether it's getting right to the rim. I got guys
why
rebounding.
Would you do that? But as a basketball coach, though, why would you put him in that spot, though? Like, what benefit is it to take a 17-foot mid-range jump shot in transition?
Why would I tell my guy who can make this shot? Can he make it?
He has not made that shot.
If he couldn't make the shot, then he shouldn't be on the floor.
What do you mean? He's not a mid-range shooter.
This is what I'm listening to. I'm listening to you guys talk to me about Jayson Tatum not being elite as a scorer. He shouldn't be on the floor. I'm listening to you guys talk to me about Julius Randle.
He shouldn't be on the floor.
I'm listening to you guys talk to me about Julius Randle being a rotation guy. This is a guy who was an All-Pro a couple of years ago, and now these guys. From your estimation, you guys are tearing these guys apart because
no, chill. You don't get to victimize yourself.
No. We're not doing that.
You did.
No, I'm not the victim here. No,
you did.
Hell no.
Yes, you did.
No, we're not.
You said you guys are tearing them apart. Per se, accurately, they can't shoot mid-range shots. No, he brought up the fact that Jayson Tatum shot 39% on non-restricted twos last year, and then you said that's tearing him apart. Wait a minute, I'm not supposed to read your resume? I shouldn't. If you apply for a job on Indeed.com, you don't want me to highlight you. You don't have more than 5 years.
You guys are just talking over each other. I was just listening, but like I realized like the audio listeners aren't going to hear a word either one of you guys say. So chill.
Mars, this is not open gym, Mars.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I just started enjoying the show. I forgot.
They're listening to this for entertainment at this point because they know Chill is twerking again for Julius Randle. You said that you're making victims of Chill. Raise your hand. We're having a man-to-man conversation.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not. We're clearly not because there are no victims here. Okay. There are no victims here.
You said we're trashing them.
What I'm listening to? Yes, you called Julius Randle a rotation player. What are you talking
I didn't
about?
say. I said he could be on a rotational player for
7 or 8 man. That's terrible.
To be a fifth big, to be the backup center. That's what the conversation was. Would he not be the best?
I do think that it is a good idea to explore. If I'm Tid, obviously Julius starts at the power forward. But I would like to see Julius Randle in that second unit as a small ball 5 being the main scorer in the second unit. I would love to see that for Julius. That's where Julius can start getting his shots up a little more in that second unit. I would like to see that. Maybe even him and Precious play together in that second unit. Him just play the small ball 5 in the second unit. I'm down for that. I'm 100%
Tyler
down.
Kohler create some shots for him.
I still haven't had Coach Chill. Still hasn't answered my question. I'll say it quietly.
What is your question?
I don't want to sound like I'm slandering. I'm going to have to do the Muhammad Ali versus
No, stay right here, Swiper.
He thought he was going to beat
What is the question?
He thought he was going to beat. Yeah, this is what I'm trying to understand.
What's the question?
You as a coach, why would you teach your team that if we have a bad mid-range shooter and we have a more optimized offensive chance by getting wide open 3-point attempts from Brunson, DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges in transition, why would I rather coach my team to take a negative shot, which is a Julius Randle pull-up 17-footer in transition that you brought up? Why would I choose to do that over allowing one of the 3-point shooters to shoot a wide open or near wide open 3-point shot in transition? Why would you ever put yourself in that situation when you're putting yourself at the disadvantage offensively? Why would you do that?
Because I want my second best offensive player to be more confident, and he can knock down.
So you're going to sacrifice your offense for his confidence?
I'm not sacrificing my offense. What I'm doing is I'm getting more confidence in my second best offensive player and second best scorer.
So chill, just walk with me. So you're saying if your second best offensive option is a known open 41% mid-range shooter, and then in transition on the move with people flying by him, he's going to maybe be a 32, 33, 34% mid-range shooter. So what you're saying is, in order to build confidence in your second best offensive option, you would rather Mikal, Brunson, Dante, and Josh and Deuce turn down open 3-point shots because they need to make sure Julius Randle is having his confidence uplifted. Even though he's a stinky mid-range shooter, you want to give him opportunity to shoot mid-range shot because you need his confidence boosted, even though statistically that's going to make your offense worse. For the sake of confidence, you're going to nuke your own offense to make Julius Randle feel better. So that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that when we're playing in transition, Julius Randle is in transition. He's got the ball coming off the glass. And we get in transition and he stops 17 feet short of the basket. When I got big guys running to the basket, I got people rebounding. He can knock down a 17-footer. He can knock down a 15-footer. If I have DiVincenzo wide open at the long ball line, sure, I can kick it to him, but I don't want to completely erase Julius Randle stopping and popping in transition because I don't want to take that aspect of his game away and thwart his confidence.
But if it's a bad shot, hold on, chill. If it's a bad shot,
we're going in circles. We have to move on.
No. I just want Chill to.
He said it. He wants.
No. But I just hold on, Mark. I just want Chill to at least.
We don't have time for this.
At least concede. We have 12 minutes left. We got 12 minutes.
And I got 11 super chats.
Oh, you're right.
We don't have time.
I'm sorry. What we'll do is, what's your show called, Chill? Your show. On PC.
Oh, Chill with Chills on Saturday with Big Ox.
So what we can do, I'll be in Texas Saturday. Okay, we can have a sit down. We'll have a nice conversation about Julius Randle mid-range shooting versus Mikal Bridges. Matter of fact, Chill, let me do this for you because you're going to make the playoff because you're in the AFC East right now from 2003 in PCL. So what you can do, you're Tom Brady and you're the Patriots right now. So what we'll do then is, once you make past this round, we'll face off in the playoff. Everybody mark this down. Face off in the playoff. First round matchup, Julius Randle offensive responsibility versus Mikal Bridges offensive responsibility. Which player is going to be better come playoff time and why? That can be our first round matchup. We'll do that.
Ron ends up giving you Julius Randle because he doesn't know what he's doing. But that's besides the
point. And before you move on, Mars, really quickly, just so you know, that Patriots team won the Super Bowl. I just want to put that out there.
Too bad you're Drew Bledsoe, sir. Too bad you're Drew Bledsoe. Anyway, go ahead, Mars.
Yeah, anyway, Antoine, definitely a Wizards fan. He said Corey Kispert is a top 5 off-ball player. Best at slip screens in the league. No.
Good answer.
It's Mr. GQ to you said, yo, Chill. I think you need to have a talk with your nephew Ox about these nasty women he bring into the champagne room before he go out like Willie Lump Lump.
Yo, sometimes, Mr. GQ, you know, sometimes he'll jump in there and he'll just go crazy. You know what I'm saying? He be on me sometimes, but nah, we ain't stopping. We actually speeding up right now. So.
Bran, Chill's second biggest hater, said makes sense that Chill thinks Damon 19 against Denver was good because he thinks Tatum was good in this postseason. A nice 23 a game on bad. Shaking my head.
All y'all do is talking about his shooting, even though they don't win that championship without him.
Who?
With everything that he did. All you did is talk about shooting.
Your dad telling you right now, if Tatum wasn't there for this one, they wouldn't win that ring.
No,
what the Swiper? Stop it, bro. Sometimes you go a little too far, man.
I'm sorry.
I know you don't like Jayson Tatum.
No, you're good. It's a very passionate episode. I hope people are enjoying this episode. I think it's been a great episode, personally. So.
Wait, Morris. Did the Celtics win this championship without Jayson Tatum?
I'm just a host, Doc. I'm just a host.
They don't. Without
Okay,
Jayson Tatum, they don't.
They don't. Versus the exact same run. They don't. Did they make it to the finals? The exact same run.
Yeah.
Without Tatum, the exact same run. Without Tatum, did they make it to the finals? Chill. Without.
No, they don't.
So you're telling me they
take
don't beat
Indiana's
in
the finals.
Take
Jayson Tatum off this crew.
They don't beat the Indiana Pacers.
No, they're not making it to the NBA championship.
They don't beat the Pacers without Halliburton.
They're not making it to the NBA championship.
You are lying.
We'll never
Drew
know.
Holiday, Derek White,
KP,
and
JB.
We will. That easy. Look, put Luke Cornett in there.
Even though
put Sam Hauser in there.
Even though Drew Holiday,
Sam Hauser in there right now.
Put
Xavier Tillman in there right now.
I think Drew Holiday was shooting like 27% in that first series. He didn't start getting busy until the Cleveland series. Just as a shooter.
Had to go on that
just as a shooter alone.
Tissue paper run by himself. We be calling him one of the top 10 players in the world right now. But he has to take a back seat so Tatum can chuck shots and still can call him an elite offensive player. That's what has to happen.
Yo, Swiper, if it's your Jayson Tatum hate that finally makes you give Jaylen Brown some credit, I'm with that. But that's
Swiper will act like he's not a Jayson Tatum hater, but it's
however you get there, I ain't tripping.
I'm not. You know what? I'll concede this to the audience. I'm not a Jayson Tatum hater. I'm a chill friend, and because I'm chill's friend, I want my man to live a right life. That's all this is.
Call it what you want. Call it what you want. Huncho said the same old man said JT's a better mid-range scorer than SGA and Kawhi.
Huncho, I just so you know, you think calling me old is an insult. My man, you better hope that you look this good when you're my age. You better hope that you look this good when you better hope that you're able to do what I do when you this age. You think that calling me old is an insult. It's not.
Just hope that you make it.
Wait a minute. What did you say JT was a better shooter than them earlier this year?
Oh, this was I want to say about a year ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true. A year ago. I agree with you. A year ago. Okay. See, chill.
No. But anyway, NP13 said, I feel like Tatum could be elite if he operated more in the quote-unquote Kawhi area. Basically in the paint outside the restricted area where Kawhi gets a lot of his isolation and mismatch positions. Yeah, he shot 37% in that area. So, yeah. Doggy. Joel, 26. Joe?
Dominique, just so you know, I don't have that problem.
Oh, my God.
No, I don't. No,
what,
I do
problem?
not.
I'm not even going to highlight
What problem?
That's all I'm going to say, Dominique. I don't have that problem.
Okay. In the words of the super chat, I missed a super chat.
And in the words of the great Biggie Smalls, don't leave your girl around me. True player for real. I don't have that problem, sir.
What is he saying? You can't widen down women? What do you say?
That's all I'm saying.
I can't see the chat.
He ain't saying anything. He ain't saying it. Let's get back to the super chat from Doggy. He said Joel 26, 11, 3, 1 and 2 on 55% true shooting while hurt. Giannis 26, 12, 5, 1 and 1 on 57% true shooting in the playoffs. Is it only the championship year why they're looked at so differently in the postseason? I think you should probably look at both of them in their primes instead of using their whole careers. Joel from like 2020 to now in the postseason is like 26 on like 59% true shooting. Giannis from like 2019 to now is like 29 on 63% true shooting. So there is a difference. So using that whole career is a teeny bit disingenuous. But I do think Joel's playoff shortcomings are a bit overblown too. So
I also want to encourage the chat, if you're a man and you're over a certain age, 30 even, 25 even, and you need assistance, make sure you see your doctor. For sure. Don't be ashamed about that.
Sure. Thank you, Swapper, for the advice. NP13 said, should the Knicks starting five be Jalen, Dante, OG, Bridges, and whatever center they choose to go with? Where does Randle even fit in?
Dante got to come up off that bench.
Yeah.
Damn, the third highest volume 3-point shooter in the league. Damn, that's tough.
That second unit is just gonna be a monster. You can't you start Mitch, you start Julius, you obviously start Jalen Brunson, and you start Mikal and OG. That's
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
They're probably going to dominate in their minutes, to be fair, Chill. That probably will be a top
Josh Hart, Dante, Deuce McBride off the bench. They got options,
Does Josh Hart average, like, per 100 possessions, 15 rebounds a game next year?
Has he not done that before? Like, all the time?
Maybe, well, whatever the VAR would be. How is he going to be the best rebounding forward in the league possibly next year? Like three forward, like 3-2.
Think he's been that for a while, but per 100 possessions, Josh Hart only averages last year 12.5 rebounds. He's such a fraud. And in the postseason, 14. Yeah, he's not that guy. But anyway,
get him off the floor.
Hudson Giljours, I think I said that right. He said, "Chill. Question for you: Do you think the New York or New Jersey will ever be the mecca of basketball again in the future? And where do you think the Knicks will be in the Eastern Conference?"
I think the Knicks are really legit challenges for the Celtics. But in terms of being the mecca, I mean, you got to win, yo. I mean, when you talk to not have a champion in the NBA in over 50 years, and the Nets were in the finals more times than the same time as the same amount as the Knicks more than the Knicks in the last 25 years. I mean, that says a lot about who the Knicks are as an organization, but we'll see.
Shout out to that 1973 championship, man. Brax the Bandit said, "Bro thinks Randle is like that. Heartbroken. Stand tall, King. August is almost over. We'll try again next month." So he's saying it's been 2 months of
if you say
Celtic
so.
Shack. I mean, Magic Ewing. I think he said Magic Ewing.
Absolutely, sure, sir. Yep.
Bran, Chill's second biggest hater, said, "Told you guys, Chill just be chatting. The Julius Randle logic is nonsense." Bro said a pull-up midi in transition. What?
Yes, bro did say a pull-up midi in transition. Yes, he did.
And then final super chat, Hudson Gilgers said, "Who is the underrated New York NBA player?" I don't know if he means all time or right now, but all time seems more fun. So who's the most underrated New York NBA player? Knicks or Nets?
I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to tell you why these two were the most underrated, because they could have just waited, but instead they traded him for Carmelo. They should have held on to Danilo and Wilson Chandler. So underrated.
That team wasn't that far away, Ox.
That was a great squad. That was a great
crew
team.
Was not that far away. Wilson Chandler, Raymond Felton, Danilo, Stoudemire was on that crew. They basically emptied the roster. They basically emptied the roster to get Carmelo Anthony. They weren't that far away from really challenging in the East.
Melo ruined them, Maury.
Yeah, I don't think they were that far away.
Whoa, Ox.
But John D. Swiper, you guys have an underrated Nick or underrated New York?
I'm a big Danilo Gallinari guy, so I'm gonna go with Danilo.
Well, underrated probably just because of injuries and then the contract situation. That wasn't his fault. It was James Dolan's fault. Underrated, probably Allen Houston. How good he actually was, but then
better than James Harden, according to us.
And his reputation got buried because he had a big contract.
Better than James Harden, right?
I'm taking him over James Harden 10 times out of 10.
I think Bernard King is underrated, like because of the injuries. But what he was doing, what he was doing was very impressive. And he came back from his initial injury, and he was pretty good. And then it happened again, and he was cooked. But
also, shout out 2014. What is 2016? Shout out Knicks 2016 summer. That was a summer to remember.
Was that the Joakim Noah summer?
That was Joakim Noah, Derrick Rose, and Derrick Rose. They had a super team. Everybody didn't make sense to anybody at the time except for the Knicks.
That's what we're gonna leave you guys with, the memory of the 2016 super team Knicks of Kristaps Porzingis, Derrick Rose, Carmelo Anthony, and Joakim Noah. Super team. I remember that. But I appreciate you guys for watching. Leave comments. Make sure to say Elron in the comments. I think leaving comments helps the video do better. I think. Also like the video. Do all of those things. Open Gym's next. It's gonna be very interesting on Open Gym. Make sure to tap into that. But thank you guys for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.